Okay. Good evening, everyone, neighbors all. After matters of public health and safety come matters of recreation and community building. My name is Ralph Bellicello, and I'm with a group called the Friends of Tennis in Jackson Heights, speaking on behalf of the growing community of tennis players here in Traverse. Tennis is a wonderful way to foster health and inclusion for all our neighbors of every age. Everyone is welcome. We have 2 courts, as you see behind me, and we're very happy to have them. But no one could have anticipated just how popular tennis would be here at Traverse Park. Even though the courts are substandard asphalt, they're cracked, and it's not the same as playing on other courts that are enjoyed in our neighborhood parks. So we're asking not for any change in this field behind me, other than an upgrade to the tennis surface so that people of all ages, including young children being taught tennis by their mother or their father, can play on proper courts, just like the players at the USTA up the road here. So with the soon to expire 5-year limit on improvements after the park was renovated, we asked Community Board 3 to look favorably on upgrading our 2 courts to match the painted hardcourt surface that is standard on other parks throughout the city, including Astoria's 13 parks and Flushing Meadows 17. We believe that Jackson Heights, though on a smaller scale, deserves the same quality of play as our neighboring communities enjoy. So please give this project your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, our second participant and the last one I have on my agenda is Mr. Richie Pacheco.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ricardo Pacheco. I'm part of the board of the South 3 Section 3, and I was the president for the last seven years. And I'm here to talk about the local law 97. This law, it's something that it needs to be discussed in depth. But right now, I just want to bring awareness as to what it does, or potentially will do, to all the co-op and condos and renters when it's implemented. Basically, what the law requires is that we retrofit heating, hot water, and air conditioning. That when you hear the word retrofitting, we're talking about money, and the cost, for the most part, historically, has been affordable housing. We have a lot of the seniors. We also have low-income, fixed-income shareholders like myself. That any increase in the maintenance, any increase at all, would basically force us out of our homes. And so what we try to do here is just bring awareness. And we are also, our group is trying to sort of just have a town hall meeting where we can discuss this. I know here I have 2 minutes, so it's really impossible to explain. I'll be back here, after I speak. If you want to talk about it or find out about the meeting, the town hall meeting that we're planning, please see me after this. But please remember and research a little bit about Local Law 97. It's a law that we must comply with. It's not a bad law. It's just that we need to be aware, and we need to find ways and generate income so that we can pay for all this retrofitting if we are to stay in our homes. Thank you.
Okay, we got one more. Thank you, Richard.
Hi, my name is David Kupferberg, and I am the Vice President of Bus Advocacy at Passengers United. I believe that how to determine if a bus network redesign is a success or failure is local riders and how they are treated. According to MTA's own presentation, 17% of riders would lose their bus stop. This is unacceptable and won't help the MTA in a Title VI case. After all, 17% of the Queens population is 386,000. The purpose of Q23's current route path in Corona is to connect the 7 train at 103rd Street Corona Plaza Station. This, however, had the historical misintent of the creation of a service gap along 108th Street. And now is the time to correct it. MTA's proposed Q14 would serve the 103rd Street Corona Plaza Station and mitigate some of the negative impacts. Though the MTA is proposed to operate the Q23 overnight, the route would terminate at 103rd Street Corona Plaza Station and no longer serve East Elmhurst. This change does not have community support. The Q23 should continue to operate into East Elmhurst, be streamlined via 108th Street, and serve the 111th Street station. In the proposed final plan, the MTA wishes to give better access to LaGuardia Airport from Jackson Heights by having the Q33 and Q47 switch northern terminals. Unfortunately, the service planners did not realize that 23rd Avenue also has the ridership, land use, and population base to warrant overnight service. Thanks to outreach, they do now. In this case, the MTA should wave the white flag and not switch to Q33 and Q47. Overnight service should simply be added for the Q47 between Jackson Heights and LaGuardia's Terminal A. The current Q48 is proposed to replace by an extended Q50, but not serve LaGuardia Airport's Terminal A nor the Vaughan College of Aeronautics. There have been requests to reroute the Q58 via Roosevelt Avenue. Coupled with the proposed streamlining of the Q23, the current Q48 could then be eliminated to reduce duplication. The Q50 should operate to LaGuardia Airport Terminal A in order to mitigate 3-legged trips. Not having overnight service on the Q66 into Astoria is an abomination. I think that the Q66 route path should remain untouched except for a minor reroute from 35th Avenue to 30th Avenue in order to serve the N&W trains. In other words, there should be no Q63. Remember, we must all work together to have better bus service for Queens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, that's going to end our public participation part. We're going to move on to public information, and we'll start off with our Deputy Inspector, Miss Elaine Downey, from the 115 precinct. Is she still here? Oh, there she is. Okay, great. We thank the 115 for all that you do. We appreciate you. Here you are.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Deputy Inspector Downing, for those of you who don't know me. I've been in the precinct since April of last year, so I'm not going on 15 months on July 3rd. I always like this meeting because it's outside and a lot more people show up, so I appreciate everybody coming out. Just to go over some of the crime, for the year we're up significantly. We're up 162 crimes, almost in every category. The only crime that we're seeing decreases. You can't hear me? Can you hear me? Is this better? Okay. So for the year, we're up 162 crimes. The only crime that we're seeing a decrease in is grand larceny autos. For the month, we're up by 40 crimes. So I'll just go over the month. Robberies, we're seeing a 9 crime increase, 42 versus 33. Felony assaults, 51 versus 32. Burglaries, 17 versus 16. Grand larcenies, down 1, 67 versus 68. And grand larceny autos is going to be 28 versus 19. Although we're up in pretty much every category, our activity, our summonses, our arrests are up significantly as well. We're making arrests and everything like that to, address the crime. As far as some of the trends that we're seeing, definitely mopeds is a real significant crime apparatus that people are using right now. Purse snatches, cell phone snatches, chain snatches, and mopeds really have become a focus of what the entire department has done, because you have guys committing a robbery in Manhattan, they're coming over the bridge, and then they're coming, hitting in the 108 precinct, they go in the 114 precinct, they wind up with the 115. And it's just they can do a number of robberies within, a short span of time. So we focus our efforts on that. So far this year in the 115, by 115 personnel only, we've taken over 530 mopeds off the streets. Recently, I don't know if you noticed along 3-4 Avenue, we focus as well. We take over 100 off of 3-4 Avenue. With the outside units that they, Chief Patrol's office, Chief Department's office sends in to support the 115, we take over 800 mopeds off the street this year. And then as compared to last year, we had only taken 130 mopeds at this point last year. So also with regard to like some of the scans that are going on, we see people unfortunately going after elderly victims, doing like distraction. They'll walk up to somebody in a vestibule as they're putting in their PIN code for their ATM. And they'll drop some money on the floor and they'll say, oh, you dropped the money. When they go to pick up the money, they will then take their card out of the debit slot and then put somebody else's debit card. So the victim doesn't realize until well after the fact that they don't have their own debit card. Stuff like that. Also, there's a group of travelers that'll approach elderly persons, same thing. They'll go up to them, ask them for help. They need, they'll say, like, oh, my child has to go to the hospital, can I borrow your phone? Dead? Oh no, it's working, sorry. Then they're able to somehow swap jewelry. So it's either a necklace or a bracelet. They swap the person's jewelry and they leave behind a fake piece of jewelry. So there's just some, really, I don't know what to call it, like extensive scams going on. As well as pickpockets. We've seen the increase in pickpockets as well. Just the influx of people, the crowding in the neighborhoods, if you're on Roosevelt Avenue and whatnot, stuff like that. So, and then another thing with your autos. So every meeting I bring this up, the grand larceny autos, if you have a newer model, Honda, Acura, the push button starts. Like last year it was the Hyundai, it was a TikTok challenge that kids were doing out, but now we're seeing a lot more intricate auto crime rings with the Acuras and the Hondas. They'll drive up to in front of your residence and they're able to steal the code from the key within a matter of 30 seconds. So we recommend there's a box that you can buy, it's an RFID blocker. It's kind of like the old Easy Pass sleeve when you put your Easy Pass so when you get hit by the toll. So we recommend you get that. And then I also recommend that you sleep with your keys under your pillow. You take them as far into your house. Don't just hang them on the door when you go. That's what everybody knows. So but that's really what I got for now. And if you all haven't heard, my 2 officers that were shot up on 2-3 Avenue, I unfortunately am in an exclusive club that I don't want to be in because I had 2 of my officers shot, but thankfully they're doing well. If there's an inch either way, they wouldn't be here. So, but a lot of you guys came out and supported us, and we really appreciate that.
Does anyone have any questions for the inspector? Is anyone? Yes. Wait a minute, hold on a second. No one can hear you.
Has the suspect been put in custody? Has the suspect been placed in custody?
Last I read, he was in the hospital, but he's out of the hospital.
He was arrested that night and he was transferred. He was arraigned, and once he's arraigned, he's transferred to Department of Corrections. So any medical, they would have to advise.
Good evening. My name is Namgyal. I want to ask officer, there are a lot of mail crimes going on. My office has a lot of mail scam. They try to steal all the mails from the, I don't know, they got the key from post office, and this is a major concern for all the business owners plus the personal residents. What is your recommendation on that, officer?
Working? Yeah. Okay. Is that working? It's working. Is this working? Yeah. So is it mail theft from like mailboxes? Yeah. It's like checks, like they're washing over checks, stuff like that. There's a type of pen, Byron. Do you know the name of the pen? I always forget the name of the pen. It's a gel pen that they're unable to wash the checks. So it's a handwritten check. That's what we suggest.
I think it's called Quick Dry ink pen, something like that. I bought one from Walgreens for my mother.
Yeah, I always forget the name.
I don't think so. They got a master key from post office. What they do is they just have a master copy and they open the whole slot and they put it in the bag and they run away.
Okay.
How that?
I can reach out to the postal inspector to figure that out. But if you reported it to us, we have to, if something like that happens, you have to call 911 or call the precinct to report it. That way we can investigate it.
Anybody else?
I have a question. So when you guys say year to date, are you referring to last year compare from June last year to this year, or are we compare?
It's going to be January to June from last year. So January to June 2023 and then January to June 2024.
Okay, and my next question is, what is the NYPD doing in regards to these high rates of crime in our neighborhoods that have significantly risen? So are we deploying more officers to the streets, more foot patrols?
So between me and the 110 precincts, 110 precinct's the other side of Roosevelt Avenue. The WO line divides it technically, but we're all one family. We treat it as Roosevelt Avenue as both of us. Because if one side of it gets affected, it's both of us. And even so, the 110 was all the way up on 23 Avenue. They made that arrest of a guy a couple weeks ago. So as far as deployment for the summer, there's a whole summer deployment zone. It runs from 370 Avenue down to 45 Avenue. And I receive the 104 precinct rookies, and the 110 gets the 111 precinct rookies. So with their days off, on the main days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're gonna have over 100 cops out here on the flag. We post all on 370 Avenue, all around Roosevelt Avenue, and as crime pops up, we evaluate the posts. So we do have that, and then the borough sends us the community response team, water larceny, public safety, and then when there's a real problem, they send everybody. Like the day after the shooting, the officer involved shooting, chief department, chief patrol, they sent every community response team from every borough, and even transit. I was surprised that people, just in that one day, they took 76 mopeds off the street. So when it is a severe problem, they do focus all the resources.
Any more questions?
All right, thank you, everybody. Have a safe summer.
Yes, hello. All right. First of all, I'd like to thank the 115th. Our prayers went out to you, and the officers. I'm glad that they're getting better. Without our officers, as many people here know, years ago, decades ago, Community Board 3 was one of the boards that fought to have a new precinct put in. And they've done a fabulous job with less resources, which is something else we're working on. But when our police get shot, people have to show up, okay? Everybody knows here I'm ex-law enforcement, okay? I was appalled at the hospital when I didn't see the elected officials, except for our mayor, show up. These men put their lives, men and women, excuse me, put their lives on the line every day for us. Does everybody get that? If you want a strong community, you back the people who back you. If you don't, this is what we got. Okay? I just want to extend from the board, thank you very much. And Byron, for the service that you guys give, it's unbelievable. Thank you very much for being here. All right, we're gonna move on to homes now. New York City Comptroller, is that James? Okay, here we go. Not taking anything here, bro. I just like that.
All right, hi everybody. I'm James Mangialuso. I'm the Queensboro Director for the Office of the New York City Comptroller. So that's Brad Lander. I think this is very distracting. I just keep hearing myself. It's like projecting to me. Yeah. Sorry, so I'm here to talk about Homes Now. So if you didn't get this paper and you want it, you can raise your hand. My colleague Kevin here from Shaker Krishnan's office has some extra flyers. So the reason I'm here is to talk about this campaign. Now this campaign is totally different than what you've heard the mayor pushing with the city of Yes. So this is a very different housing related proposal, and it focuses on two plans. One is called Open Door, and it's on the sheet there. Second one, Neighborhood Pillars, also on the sheet. So essentially, these are two existing programs that are looked over by HPD, the city's Housing Preservation Development Agency. And what the Comptroller's Office is asking, along with members of the City Council, primarily those in the Progressive Caucus, like the council member here, Shaker Krishnan, the council member slightly to the north, Tiffany Caban, they're asking that we fund these two programs fully. They're pre-existing. We don't need to really write any new legislation for this. They already exist. They've just been cut or totally defunded. So that first plan, the Open Door, that would create new housing in the form of limited equity co-ops, similar like Mitchell Lama, that maybe some of you are familiar with, from years past. So this program's already been used. They funded 56 units of co-ops in Williamsbridge in the North Bronx. And what we want is to fund this for the next 5 years, so there's a steady budget, and the planners in the city will know that the money is coming and they can use it to create more housing. Again, limited equity co-ops for that particular program. The second program, Neighborhood Pillars, that one is to preserve pre-existing housing, and what would happen is community-based organizations like Chaya here in Jackson Heights, they would partner with the city, with HPD, get subsidies from HPD of over $100,000 per unit to preserve pre-existing housing, to take it off the speculative market. This has already been done in Glendale in like 2018. The program's been defunded since 2019. So what we really want here is for the city to fund it with about I think it's like 2.5 billion. It's on your paper there over 5 years. Again, so everyone knows that the money's coming and that we can actually use this money to deal with the housing crisis that we have. What the New York Housing Conference predicts is that if the current budget that the mayor's proposing is enacted, we'll have roughly a 32% decrease in affordable housing production. So again, we really need this to be in the budget. We think this is the best move for New York going forward, and that's why I'm here to support the City Council's initiative. And what we'd really like from the board is for you to pass a resolution in support of this program or this campaign and these two programs that are in the campaign. And additionally, we'd love for you to send letters to the City Council. Right now, it's not only supported by the Progressive Caucus, but also Speaker Adams herself is in support of the plan. But not everyone is on board, and we really need to fight to put this in because we do have a major affordability crisis in the city. So please, I'll take the questions right after I'm done here. And again, we need the resolution, and we'd love for you to sign on to our letter of support, which I believe did I send it to you already? If I didn't, I will. But yes, that's the gist of it. I can answer more specific questions if anyone has them from the board.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Giselle. I'm a board member. So my question is that with this capital budget investment, would funds be used to assist like high maintenance costs? Because there are units, co-ops available, but it's the maintenance costs that make it very difficult for anyone to actually purchase anything.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics about how they figure out what the maintenance costs are, but with HPD co-ops, there are certain restrictions and regulations to prevent them from getting too high, as opposed to probably co-ops around here that aren't under such regulatory agreements with HPD. So with these, again, HPD is giving direct subsidies, so they would have these co-ops would, again, have more oversight and regulation from the city, but I don't know the specifics. I could try to find out and send information to the board. Any other questions?
Okay, so my other question is like, with the distribution of the capital budget, how would that look like for an organization like China? Hello? All right, so pretty much how would that look like for an organization like China? Like how would that be dispersed? What would that process look like? And how can people access it?
So I think on the sheet you have there, the front side, there's a bunch of partners on the bottom. They're supporting the campaign, such as Chaya, right, which is a community development corporation based in Jackson Heights and Richmond Hill. So if they're interested in helping to preserve pre-existing housing, they would go directly to HPD, and again, they hash it out. I don't know the specifics of how it's decided as to which specific amount of money is given. It might be based on need, like certain properties are going to need more for rehabilitation than others. It's not a set amount. I think it's a case-by-case basis thing. But essentially, if this program's funded, there'd be a set amount of money for both of the Neighborhood Pillars and Open Door. And then from that pot, HPD would be able to decide how to spend it, you know, and like they would get, if Chaya needs a certain amount for rehabilitation, I'm presuming they would give them as much as they can, so but not too much to jeopardize other projects. I can again ask for more specifics on the proposal, but that's my general understanding of it.
to leave me.
Hi, thank you.
Say leave.
Mark Burmaster, also a board member. I'm wondering how these two programs were chosen as part of the Housing Now and the 2.5 billion capital investment. Did the comptroller decide that they were the most financially efficient way of creating and preserving housing? I read online that I think maybe this program was going to create or preserve 11,000 homes.
Wait, you heard that as a projection in the future, or has already done it? Yeah, I'm not sure of the specific numbers again, but the reason these two programs were chosen is because they already exist. They're already on the books. There's already rules on them. You wouldn't have to write any new legislation. That's also why the Progressive Caucus is interested in these particular programs, because you're not starting from scratch, right? You have an understanding of how it works. They've both been done before. We have a track record of success of particular projects. So it was seen as not only a more efficient way of running this campaign, by picking pre-existing programs rather than creating from scratch, but also it's just an easier political win. I mean, just simply, you can tell people what's already occurred, and then I can come to you and say, just help us get political support to fund this, right? So it's just, in some way, it's just an easier path forward, but we do believe in the programs at the same time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, James. I would invite you to a committee meeting with housing so we can hash this out, so we can get a clearer understanding of what this actually is. But thank you for being here today. All right, we're going to go a little out of the program. Corona Cloudburst Project. Are you here? Okay, I'd like you guys to come next. And welcome.
Hi everyone. Oh, that's loud. I'm usually a quiet talker, so this is good. Hi, I'm Alicia Langdon. I'm with the Department of Environmental Protection, and I'm going to talk to you very briefly today about the Cloudburst project coming to Corona. So I think most of you have it's like a presentation format. We're going to try this out outside, but I think most of you got this. If you don't, can you raise your hand and someone from my team can pass you a copy? Great. And I'm gonna just go through slide by slide, so follow me. I'll try to give you the numbers as I go, and then we'll have some time for questions afterwards. All right, so on slide 2, we'll start there. Maybe some of you have heard about this term cloudburst before, but what do we mean when we talk about cloudbursts in New York City? So a cloudburst is a sudden heavy downpour where a lot of rain falls in a short amount of time. You may be familiar with storms like Hurricane Ida, which we had in 2021, or even Ophelia last year. And cloudbursts can cause flooding, damage property, disrupt critical infrastructure, and pollute New York City's waterways, as many of you are, I'm sure, familiar with. Cloudburst management is a way of absorbing, storing, and transferring stormwater to minimize flooding from these heavy rain events. It's important to note that cloudburst management uses a combination of gray and green infrastructure, like pipes and underground tanks, and also green infrastructure like porous pavement and rain gardens, which you may have already seen in the neighborhood. So during heavy rain events, cloudburst management can minimize the damage to property and infrastructure by supplementing sewers and reducing pressure on the system. These projects can also provide combined sewer overflow reduction benefits as well as stormwater resilience. So slide 3. These interventions are meant to act as integrated systems rather than standalone assets, and they generally fall into 3 categories. So the first is transfer. These are projects that move water from one place to another. Absorb, projects that hold rainwater. Store, projects that hold rainwater, and then absorb, projects that allow for surface water to enter the soil or the ground. And these projects differ from standard green infrastructure, where you've probably seen rain gardens in the street, in that they're intended for larger volume storage and typically building up to a 2.3 inch per hour storm.
So slide 4. Cloudburst hubs are network stormwater management projects that target flooding hotspots at the sub-catchment scale, which are hydraulically connected areas based on the sewer network. Hubs were selected based on the ability to feasibly include infiltration, storage, and conveyance to reduce flood depths of hotspots. And the overall intent of identifying these hubs was to narrow down areas in the city where we can implement interventions that will have a meaningful reduction for projected flooding. And Corona has been selected as one of the first 4 hubs in New York City. So moving on to slide 6. Looking at the boundary of the Corona Cloudburst Hub, you'll probably notice that we're mostly targeting flooding hotspots south of Roosevelt Avenue, which I know is outside of Community Board 3, that's Community Board 4, I believe. However, as I mentioned earlier, these are network solutions, so the area north of Roosevelt Avenue is included in the hub and is cited for the installation of porous pavement as part of this overall network, since this area is tributary to the target flooding hotspots. And additionally, the project will, in addition to benefiting the overall hub area, the porous pavement north of Roosevelt Avenue could improve drainage in this area for typical rain events that you're seeing. And while the area south of Roosevelt Avenue, the on-site storage areas called out on that map, like Park of Americas and the Hall of Science entrance, are public spaces that I'm sure many of you frequent, even though they're not within Community Board 3. So we wanted to be sure to highlight those for you all, as these are going to be the primary areas where Cloudburst infrastructure will be the most visible and where we'll have the most opportunity for community feedback on designs, which I'll talk about in a minute. So moving on to slide 7. To give you an idea of where we're at in this process, this is the projected timeline for the project. We're still in very early phase of design, and as part of the design process, we've been conducting outreach to gather input from communities within the hub. We'll be continuing this outreach throughout the summer and into the fall as part of the design phase. So in slide 8, during the spring of this year, we've been conducting what we're calling community listening phase of outreach, which has included introductory presentations like this one, as well as several tabling events that we've conducted in the area. And then moving through the summer and fall of this year, we'll be moving into the community visioning phase, where which will consist of in-person workshops with a focus on the on-site storage areas I mentioned in Park of Americas and Hall of Science. And these meetings will inform the 30% design milestone of the project, roughly around there, as we'll be wrapping up next summer. So this is still the first phase of that design process. And then these in-person workshops this summer and fall will be followed up with virtual preliminary design presentations to update communities in winter of 2025, followed by final design presentations in summer of 2025. Slide 9. So to recap some of the outreach we've been doing so far, these are some photos from our recent tabling events where some of you may have already seen us out in the neighborhood. These events have primarily been designed to gather insights into people's experience of flooding in the neighborhood and how it impacts daily life. And on slide 10, you'll see the areas where we've been doing those tabling events. And on slide 11, we have some information about how you can get involved. As I said, we're about to conclude the listening phase of this outreach, but then moving into more of the design phase. We're going to be looking for feedback on how we can improve these projects. So if you're interested in being involved in that process and hearing updates about what we're doing, you can scan the QR code, and that'll take you to the Cloudburst website where you can look at Corona Hub specifically and sign up for our newsletter. That's where we'll be sending out more information about the project. I will leave it at that. Can I give this?
All right, good afternoon. I'm a member of Community Board 3. I have a question, because we do have some bioswales over in East Elmhurst. And I wanted to know, who's responsible for cleaning? Because I've seen numerous with just trash. Is it the owner's responsibility? Is DEP coming back to check on them?
Yeah, thank you for this. I'm going to move away from the speaker.
Thank you for that question. It is generally DEP's responsibility to take care of the bioswales in the neighborhood. So we do have a maintenance team that comes around regularly to check those. You can always report to 311 if they haven't been maintained regularly, or if you're seeing that they're in need of extra assistance in addition to that regular rounds. So that's the best way to get that handled. 311, and they'll direct it to us.
Actually, my audible in the back, I can say need help. No, all right, I'll take it back.
Hi, thank you. I noticed you do a lot of green infrastructure on the adjacent streets. Is there any tie-in with the Department of Parks Street Trees program? Because that also builds up a lot of that green infrastructure and reserves water. Is there any coordination at all? Or?
As part of the program, oh, that's weird. As part of the program, we're primarily doing porous pavement, but if there are trees that are in poor health, we will be replacing those trees as part of their work.
Hi, I noticed the bioswales, and they're lovely. They're really beautiful in the community. What was your criteria for selecting them for specific areas? Because my neighbor across the street, she has one was put there. I didn't know where it came from, what was the criteria, and I would like one in front of my house.
There is very strict criteria with DOT, Parks Department, utilities that dictate whether it's feasible to put a bioswale. So generally, if there isn't one in your property, it's because there are certain criteria that couldn't be met. And she asked, that particular house was selected because it met that criteria. Correct. Generally, the approach is you canvass a whole neighborhood, see how many assets you can fit, and then they get rejected if there's utility conflicts or you're too close to an existing tree, things like that. All homeowners are notified during the design process.
You know, I have a question myself. Okay, so they're telling me I'll go last.
Hi, I'm wondering if there's been any discussion about this kind of project being linked to 34th Avenue and Paseo Park.
Can you hear? Okay.
Okay. Wondering if there's been any discussion about this kind of project being linked with 34th Avenue and Paseo Park. Apparently, there's still a lot of development under discussion for 34th Avenue and a budget to match.
Is that a DOT project, or what are you, it's like a street improvement projects that you're referencing? Gotcha. I'm gonna try to summarize what you said, but it sounds like it's part of a larger project that's happening with several city agencies that's being looked at for a number of reasons. And what I'll say, without looking at all the details for this project right now in front of me, The Cloudburst project boundary was defined by the tributary area, like I said, as part of the sewer network. So if it falls within there, and there was some ability to find synergies between existing projects, we did look at those across all the agencies as part of the feasibility. So I can't say specifically right now if we're working with them, but that was part of how we cited some of these interventions.
Thank you. I have a question about what if you speak to the homeowner and the homeowner, I'm sorry, what if you speak to the homeowner and the homeowner is against having one of them in front of their property? What is the process? Is that considered?
So I will say too, the green infrastructure program is separate from the Cloudburst program, what we're talking about. So there's a little bit of a distinction there that I think is important. And I don't work specifically on that team. Our engineer is here so we can talk to the technical aspect. But yeah, I think that distinction should be clear. If there are questions about the general green infrastructure program, you can come talk to us afterwards. Maybe we can send you to the right person. But, yeah.
Also under this program, we're only proposing porous pavement primarily in the streets, and then larger green infrastructure at the properties, public properties that is noted in the presentation.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for being here. If you have any other questions, you can talk to them on the side. We're gonna move on now. We have our first Vice President. She wants to make an introduction.
Thank you. It is my privilege today to welcome a distinguished advocate for youth engagement and civic education, Mr. Al Curlin. Come on down. Mr. Al Curlin is also the author of The Soul of Adolescence Aligns with the Heart of Democracy. This is his book. We have a scholar, an educator here, a community advocate, and he is here to talk about New York City 16 Vote.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nimitz. Again, my name is Al Curlin, and I am a youth services and civic engagement organizer with teen councils and teen programs since 1984. What I'm coming to fight for is asking to support a movement in New York State to allow 16 and 17-year-olds to be eligible to vote in state elections and city elections, not federal. There's currently legislation in New York State, sponsored by Brian Hohenwald and Harold. And we also have city council resolutions that are pending, sponsored by Sean Abreu and Gail Brewer. And those resolutions have been signed on by Ms. Krishnan from the city council. So my purpose here tonight is to ask for a follow-through. I made a presentation to the Education and Youth Services Committee invited by Ms. Nimitz, and that committee voted 6-1 in favor of lowering the voting age to 16. So there is precedent in New York City. I've made presentations to 12 community boards, Manhattan, the Bronx, and Brooklyn, and 10 out of the 12 boards provided us letters of support. So hello? We feel that as advocates, as much as we appreciate the governmental support, which also includes, you neglected to mention, Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine and Queens Borough President Donovan Richards, that we hear from community boards, civic organizations, and youth organizations across the city of New York. Ask them for letters of support and resolutions of support. So Ms. Nimmons has also drafted a resolution on behalf of Queens Community Board 3, and that will be presented to you during the session that she leads later on this evening. I would close by saying that the visibility of this effort amongst the general public is very small, and that's part of why we need local organizations to help spread the visibility and the word, and also address arguments that in previous years were presented against a 16-year-old's ability to vote at 16. So I would just close by presenting example. We have 9 countries in Latin America and provinces in Europe, in Germany, in France and England, the Isle of Man and Wales, and also cities in the United States, 7 in Maryland and 1 in Vermont, that have allowed the 16-year-old vote for 10 years. And what they have found has been surprising to some people, but not to people that have really engaged with this age population. And what they have found is when 16-year-olds are given the opportunity to be responsible, they actually become responsible. It's actually an act of engagement that makes them responsible voters and also makes them more interested in civics courses in high schools, because now they have something to relate to. The second thing that we found is that when a 16 or 17-year-old registers at that age, when they are compared to the 18, 19, and 20-year-old cohort, they actually come out at double the rate of the older cohort, and that ratio persists over subsequent elections, over multiple elections. So what we are doing is we are establishing a habit of the heart when someone is still relatively stable and in school and has actions to civic courses. One of the provisions in our state legislation is a mandate of at least 8 hours for every high school student in New York State to be exposed to civics. Civics education is something that's been sorely lacking, and there's also legislation in the state Senate and the Assembly sponsored by State Senator Robert Jackson that would mandate civic education for every high school student beginning in the 5th grade and occurring in every grade afterwards to the 12th grade. So just like when we're teaching math or English or science, where students get multiple exposure to civics and electoral issues, that will help. But that being said, there is no mandate that a person be educationally qualified in order to vote. That was actually outlawed by the U.S. Constitution in 1965. No tests on electoral literacy are allowed. However, at the same time, we want to push for civics education in order to create the reality where we have enlightened voters beginning at an age when they're still in high school and who come out to vote in greater numbers. So we have a more informed electorate exercise across New York State and also in the United States.
Can you stop it?
Hello? My presentation for tonight. If anyone has any questions.
Al and I have known each other for 30 years, so he still refers to me as Miss Nimmons. I'm Dr. Nimmons. Thanks, Al.
You're welcome.
Only because we've known each other for so long. So if you have questions for Al.
Thank you, Dr. Nimitz. You had mentioned municipal elections. Would that also include like the CEC elections, the Community Educational Council elections, or just the government ones?
It would just apply to elected office holders in New York City government and New York State government, not the CECs, the Community Education Councils. Just for public education, public law mandates that 16-year-olds or 17-year-olds appoint at least one to each board, but it also stipulates to have no vote. So we also want to see that change, where 16 and 17-year-olds can vote on the CEC.
Does anyone else have questions? Okay, thank you. Oh, you do. Okay.
Thank you. I just want to clarify, is this for municipal elections or state elections? Both. Okay, so this says for local elections in New York City, but that would include governor and state assembly. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Nope? Okay. Thank you, Al, and we'll take this up on the executive committee. Thank you so much, Al.
Thank you, and thank you for that presentation. There was two things I was gonna correct here for you. It is Dr. Nimitz, and she does deserve that title. She worked for that PhD, okay? The second thing is, I agree with most of what you said, but 1965, when the education was outlawed, that was a Jim Crow law that was put in by most of the southern states, whereas African Americans couldn't vote. So that was born out of more discrimination than inclusion, okay? Thank you. All right, we're going to get into our public hearings, but before we do that, Ms. Martha Levitan, as you know, she's a former chair, a valued board member, and both of us, there's a lot of us that get into the soapbox derby. She's going to be passing out envelopes as we do every year now. Last year, I believe we collected almost $2,000. We have 3 cars. Yeah, give her a hand, please. She pulls the heavy card on this. And we just appreciate her to no end. And if you haven't gone to the soapbox derby, please take your time. See what these kids are able to do. A lot of it has to do with robotics. A lot of it has to do with engineering. A lot of it has to do with STEM. And we don't realize that. They don't realize that until they're successfully going down that hill. So please, Martha.
Thank you, Frank. We have 3 cars in the Flushing Meadows Soapbox Derby. All 3 cars race the same day as our health fair, which was June 8th. They had a luncheon on June 15th where they presented awards to all the kids. And I was able to meet the child that will be going to Akron to race representing East Elmhurst. So I presented them a check on behalf of the community board for $1,000 because we need to continue to maintain our cars. And that is why envelopes are being handed out so we can give them a subsequent donation. They have a race on Saturday, October 19th at 10 a.m., same place, 94th and 23rd Avenue. It's going to be called the Battle of the Boroughs, and we're hoping that our 3 cars race along with other cars and battle among the 5 boroughs in New York City. So if you need more information, I'm sitting over there. Just any amount helps. Put it in the envelope. Don't need to put your name on it. And I will collect them tonight, and then we'll put a check out for them. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for all you do. All right, we're going to go into our public hearings. We're going to start with our land use / housing. Mr. Wallace, Mr. Romero, Ms. Dorothy Phelan, and Arthur Tyler. But we'll lead off with you.
ready for the argument. Yeah. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Hamlet Wallace. I'm the co-chair for land use, and Ms. Dorothy Phelan is also the chair for housing, and Yacio Monero is also the co-chair for land use in this case. Tonight we have a presentation for the City of Yes Housing Opportunity. And I'd like to invite Derek, Jasmine, or someone from the Department of City Planning to give the presentation.
Hello, good evening. Okay, great. Thank you. Yes, she's sending a few copies of tonight's presentation. And thank you all so much for being here. My name is Derek Jasmine. I'm from the Department of City Planning. I'm also joined with my colleague, Veronica Brown, who will be able to answer questions following the presentation. So, excited to hear about City of Yes for Housing Opportunity, which will change zoning to allow for equitable housing development. These changes will enable a little more housing in every neighborhood by removing some barriers to housing growth. New York City faces a severe housing shortage. The vacancy rate for rental apartments is historically low, only 1.4% across New York City, far below a healthy vacancy rate that would provide New Yorkers with housing options, and here in Queens that's even lower at 0.88%. Because our housing demand is greater than our housing supply, New Yorkers are experiencing very high housing costs. And over half of New York City renters are rent burdened, meaning they spend over 30% of their household income on rent. And not having enough homes is also the direct cause of homelessness. On a given night during the month of December 2023, there were over 92,800 homeless New Yorkers, including over 33,000 children sleeping in the shelter system every night. Most of New York's housing was created in the first half of the 20th century, and since that time, housing production has fallen dramatically. And that's in part because zoning has become increasingly restrictive since 1961. While housing production has decreased, the demand for housing has increased, and there are several reasons, including the fact that households are smaller today than they used to be, meaning that the same amount of people take up even more space than they used to. What recent housing production has occurred has been limited to only a few neighborhoods. In 2023, 10 community districts produced just as much housing as the other 49 combined. The proposals in City of Yes for Housing Opportunity emerge from the goals outlined in Where We Live NYC, which is the city's comprehensive fair housing plan. The city's plan to fight discrimination, confront segregation, and advance opportunity. It was shaped by dozens of community advocacy and service organizations, as well as hundreds of New Yorkers. Where We Live highlights how our housing shortage makes it especially challenging for low-income New Yorkers, who are disproportionately people of color and people with disabilities, to find housing options that are safe and affordable. This is why Where We Live's New York goals is to build more homes across New York City. When there are a few apartments to choose from, renters pay more. In Queens, 52.8% of renters are considered rent burdened. In a tight market, landlords can charge higher rents, and existing tenants are increasingly vulnerable to tenant harassment, poor housing quality, and displacement pressure as they compete amongst themselves for a limited number of units. The average New York City rental household makes about $70,000 a year, but the average two-bedroom apartment is over $2,700 a month. This means that your average working family would have to spend approximately half their income to get a home for their family. New York's housing shortage has direct human consequences, and these have been underscored in our extended community engagement process. Over the past year, city planning has met with over 100 groups, including housing nonprofits, tenants groups, faith-based organizations, and affordable housing advisors. Each of these groups has been able to share a unique and valuable perspective on the lived experiences resulting from our housing. When the city fails to produce housing, all of New Yorkers feel the economic consequences. Allowing New York to build more housing can also help to create good quality jobs in construction and residential maintenance, adding an estimated $58.2 billion to the city's economy and creating over 260,000 jobs. Many city agencies work on policies and programs that aim to address New Yorkers' housing needs. The Department of City Planning is responsible for the city's zoning. Zoning regulates what can be built on a particular site. both how big the building can be and what uses it can have, residential or commercial, for example. Sometimes zoning includes other things, like requirements for income-restricted affordable housing, but zoning does not fund new housing or directly control what can be built. It only establishes rules for what may be built. Other housing gets built depends on many factors. Other tools the city uses include subsidies or tax incentives, programs for affordable homeownership, and tenant protections that guarantee renters' rights. Changing our zoning can respond to these issues by incrementally and gradually increasing the number and types of homes available in every neighborhood across the city. If every neighborhood adds just a little bit more housing, New York City can add a lot more housing overall without any single neighborhood experiencing dramatic changes or overtaxed infrastructure. This text amendment is the largest housing change DCP has ever undertaken and would touch the zoning of every aspect of the city. Universal affordability preference would allow bigger buildings for affordable housing in medium and high density zoning districts across the city. The proposal would remove residential parking mandates. The proposal would also allow for more missing middle housing or low-rise apartment buildings in low-density areas. The proposal also aims to help homeowners in low-density neighborhoods by allowing them to build accessory dwelling units, also known as ADUs, to their homes, and providing small buildings with additional flexibility to adapt over time. There is also a range of smaller proposals, such as enabling conversion of non-residential buildings, allowing smaller apartments, and allowing residential building campuses to add height-limited buildings. Exclusionary zoning has made it virtually impossible to build housing in many low-density neighborhoods. This wasn't always the case. Small apartment buildings and 2 to 3 family homes are common in many of New York's lower density neighborhoods and were allowed in many places up until as recently as the 1990s and early 2000s before stricter zoning prevented them. Housing Opportunity would reintroduce modest buildings that are more naturally affordable than other types of construction and apartment buildings at a scale in which they can take advantage of existing affordability programs. And together, these changes would allow for the creation of more housing in low-density areas without affecting the neighborhood character. One proposal is the Town Center proposal to create more missing middle housing in low-density areas. Missing middle refers to housing that's more modest in scale and often affordable to middle-income residents, a once common type of housing that's not often built in the city anymore. This proposal aims to re-legalize mixed-use apartments with ground floor commercial use and a few stories of housing on top. Overly complex house zoning rules have made it almost impossible to build new ones. This proposal streamlines zoning rules, including restrictive floor limits to floor area, so that it is once again feasible to build 2 to 4 stories of housing above a commercial ground floor. The next proposal is for missing middle is transit-oriented development, which would allow for low-rise buildings between 3 and 5 stories, depending on the underlying zoning, that's located on sites near transit and meets specific criteria. First, the site must be on a block within half a mile of a subway or rail station. Next, the lot must be over 5,000 square feet, which is at least twice the size of an average lot. And finally, the lot must be located on the short end of a block or along a wide street, which is defined as 75 feet or wider. Community facilities like faith-based organizations and libraries can also use these rules throughout the city on sites over 5,000 square feet where community facility space is present even if they do not meet the other criteria. Transit-oriented development rules would promote missing middle housing while also promoting sustainability by adding housing in areas with already good transit access. In the rest of the low-density areas, the proposal aims to give homeowners more flexibility. Under this proposal, a 1 or 2 family home could be allowed to add a small accessory dwelling unit, also known as ADU. There is a range of types of ADUs, including backyard cottages, garage conversions, as well as basement apartments. These small units would provide important housing options for small households, like a young person moving out into their own first place, or an elderly resident who wants to age in place. Because of their small size, they also serve different income levels and more broadly than a single-family home. Successful ADU programs in other places show us that these units can give multi-generational families more space and help middle-class homeowners with expenses. Only a very small percentage of eligible lots choose to add an ADU, approximately 1% a year, but this incremental housing growth has big benefits for homeowners and tenants. And while the zoning text will make changes needed to enable ADUs, there are many other barriers, including such as the building code that will need to be lifted to make ADUs a reality. The zoning text will prohibit ADUs in special coastal risk districts, and basement ADUs will not be allowed within the 100-year floodplain, which is consistent with zoning rules. Complementary changes, including changes to the building code, would require legislation, including rules to address sensitive areas that are areas sensitive to stormwater and coastal flooding. Recommendations for these rules are being developed by an interagency group that also includes Mayor's Office of Environmental Justice, Department of Environmental Protection, FDNY, Department of Buildings, and many others. And the city looks forward to working with the City Council to advance these. The same rule changes that enable ADUs can also help homeowners who don't want to add an ADU but need more flexibility. Our research shows many existing buildings are out of compliance, meaning they're not in line with today's rules, but buildings like pre-1961 duplexes could not be constructed today because they have more square footage than is currently allowed and their rear yards are too small. These non-compliances can cause big headaches for homeowners if they need to borrow money from the bank if they want to make simple changes to their homes, such as renovating an outdated kitchen. The proposal would fix these rules and would simply make 1 and 2 family and as well as low-density multifamily districts able to build the housing types that they already allow. In other words, a 1-family district would continue to allow 1-family homes, and a 2-family district would continue to allow both 1 and 2-family homes. This would have 2 benefits. First, homeowners of existing buildings won't run into issues when they go to make an alteration. And second, you'll be able to build a 2-family home within a 2-family district or multifamily home within a multifamily district. We recognize the importance of homeownership in these low-density neighborhoods, and for many New Yorkers, the pathway to homeownership has been to purchase a 2-family or small multifamily building and rent out those additional units. The proposals for district fixes and ADUs would allow more opportunities for New Yorkers to follow this path. Next, we're going to turn our attention to the medium and high-density areas, where our focus is on creating more opportunities for housing, including affordable housing. To do this, the proposal introduces the Universal Affordability Preference, also is known as UAP. This would allow buildings to be at least 20% larger, so long as the extra space is occupied by permanently affordable or supportive housing. UAP is modeled after current rules, which allow bigger buildings for affordable senior housing within certain neighborhoods. UAP would also allow incremental housing growth in neighborhoods and encourage affordable housing throughout the city rather than concentrating within a few neighborhoods. Through the UAP framework, all forms of affordable and supportive housing would be able to take advantage of the higher floor area ratio, also known as FAR, already provided to affordable senior housing within these districts. However, there are a few districts that don't have the senior housing preference today, and in these areas, the proposal would create new FARs to enable the growth of affordable and supportive housing in every neighborhood. So what does affordability mean for UAP? It would have an affordability requirement of 60% area median income. Area median income, or AMI, is a measure of affordability established by the federal government. At 60% AMI, also as $76,200 for a family of 3, UAP would serve lower income New Yorkers than the existing zoning tool known as voluntary inclusionary housing. Mandatory inclusionary housing, which requires a percentage of new developments to be income restrictive, affordable housing would continue to exist and be mapped where there are significant increases in residential density. UAP would also serve New Yorkers at even lower income levels. Income averaging means that instead of only including homes at the required affordability level, a building can include homes at a range of incomes that average to the required affordability. So for example, a building could meet the 60% affordability level by including a mix of homes at 30%, 60%, and 90% AMI. Through UAPs, steeper affordability requirement and the introduction of income averaging, UAP can help to serve the low-income New Yorkers who most need affordable housing. I'm going to pause at this time and I'll open the floor for any questions before we continue.
Thank you. I've been looking at some of the FAR subs and some. Is this better? Oh, I'm sorry, of course. I'll help. Pardon me. Apologies, everyone. Is this better? From what I've seen, looking at the FARs, the 3 to 5 story rules and so on, it's taller than what you can build now. But it seems to match like the height and the floor size of a lot of older buildings built in the 20s to 50s, whether it's in the low density zones or the 3 to 5 story apartment buildings in the transit zones or the UAP. Do I have it correctly that the way that this is designed, you can build bigger than what you can build now, but you can't build stuff that's bigger than a lot of the historical stock that's just been in the neighborhood for decades?
Hi everyone, I'm Veronica. I work in the housing division. This is the sweet spot. Okay. The housing division at the Department of City Planning, work on this text amendment. This is a great question about our missing middle proposals, town center and transit-oriented development. The questioner is completely right that these rules are modeled on existing buildings from before the 1961 zoning was put into place. So for example, on Northern Boulevard, you might see a 5-story building with a commercial ground floor, 4-story building, commercial ground floor. That was built before 1961. If someone wanted to redevelop a vacant commercial site on that street and just match that building type, they wouldn't be able to do that today because the FAR is too low, the height is too low, etc. So what we really want to do is just revive a popular building type that our current zoning has made illegal. That's what many of these proposals are about, but particularly the missing middle proposals and low density basic district fixes that Derek went through really focus on is just making the zoning reallow some building types that are already common in New York, but that our current restrictive zoning has banned.
Okay. On page 19, you have information about the universal affordability preference. Here in Community Board 3, there's very little of it. How do you make sure that there's more area that you could allow additional 20% preference for affordable housing?
This is a great question. Referencing page 19 of the document for the board members that have it, which is a map of where universal affordability preference applies. UAP, or universal affordability preference, applies in every R6 to R10 zoning district that's currently mapped, and it just provides a 20%, at least 20% incremental increase that would have to be for permanently affordable housing. The reason there's relatively little of it, or perhaps about half of this community district, is because this community district is about half R6 to R10 and about half R1 to R5. So universal affordability preference does not apply in the R1 to R5 districts because it's modeled on an existing zoning preference in the R6 to R10 districts for affordable senior housing and just extends that to all forms of affordable and supportive housing. However, we hope in the other districts, the R1 to R5 districts, some of the other proposals will help to promote affordable housing, including those missing middle proposals I just talked about. There's not the same preference structure there, but we do think that those missing middle 3 to 5 story apartment buildings work quite well with HPD affordable housing programs, with existing state tax incentives, including some HPD programs that promote affordable home ownership. So we think that we can promote affordable housing throughout the community district, but through different tools that are tailored to the existing context and zoning frameworks.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. Just a question. Where does the ULURP and ULURP process and BSA process play a role with this new proposal. And then also, Community Board 3 has R6 zones, R7 zones throughout the district. So it's not an impossibility to get that kind of zoning and housing under current conditions.
Thanks. So first the question about ULURP. So right now, this text amendment is going through a ULURP-like process. Text amendments follow the same steps of the ULURP process, including critically the community board review. We'll then go have a city planning commission hearing and vote before going to the city council before the end of this year. In city or site-specific rezonings or neighborhood studies will, of course, continue to exist when sites want significant increases in density when that's appropriate. Department of City Planning is, undertaking several neighborhood studies right now that you might be aware of, including those in Long Island City and Jamaica. So those will continue to exist and go through a ULURP process, as will private applications for site-specific actions. This is just a citywide change that will change the underlying zoning to allow for incremental increases in density throughout the entire city, which is a different but complementary approach to a site-specific or neighborhood rezoning, which introduces a more significant increase in residential density at a specific location and requires an extremely extensive planning process and a concurrent ULURP. The second question was highlighting that there are significant R6 to R10 high-density districts in this community district. And that's true. As I mentioned in response to the previous question, this community district is split, between the high-density and low-density districts. But we have developed, as part of this proposal, a series of different complementary actions that provide housing opportunities that fit different contexts. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach, but there are approaches, like Derek just went through, the universal affordability preference, that are appropriate for the R6 to R10 districts, but there are also, a housing demand in low-density districts for, small households, young people moving into their first place for the first time, people who just can't afford to buy a single-family home. There's people who, need to live in the low-density districts as well, and so there need to be housing opportunities there as well. And so we can't just ask the R6 to R10 districts to provide all of the housing for the city. That's essentially what we've been doing so far in the past, few decades, and it's, contributed to the housing crisis we currently have. What we need to do is, develop tailored approaches to every zoning district to allow for appropriate housing opportunities.
Hi, good evening. I think I was at the presentation that you guys did at TV3 before, and my main concern was, and still is, the infrastructure, okay? Because at the time I mentioned, you have DEP, you have National Grid, Con Ed, all of these people sitting at the table while you're doing these studies. Because just like DEP is talking about now, they're putting in all these bioswales and everything to capture all the water. So now you have these developers coming in and tearing down a one-family house and putting up whatever they want to put up. Or you may have a neighborhood, a residential neighborhood, that want to do all these ADUs. Well, first of all, you're saying that addresses the root cause of high housing policy. Because if I put up an ADU, are you going to tell me how much rent that I can charge? Because I can charge as much rent as I want to, and the developers, they can charge as much as they want to. I mean, looking at this, have you guys talked with the comptroller's office to discuss this House Now campaign, where you have existing programs already exist that just need to be funded, that would, I think, solve some of the housing problem?
Thanks so much. So that was 3 specific questions that I'm going to answer in order. So one was about the environmental review and infrastructure concerns. Second was about ADUs. And then finally, you asked if we've talked about Homes Now and other affordability programs. So I'll get to those in turn. So first, the environmental review and infrastructure concerns. For this text amendment, the Department of City Planning undertook a full environmental review. We've issued a draft environmental impact statement. This is the biggest, most comprehensive environmental review that we've ever done. And it looked at all of the impact categories, all of the different forms of infrastructure that could be impacted by a change like this, by an increase in housing, and identified where there might be impacts in different neighborhoods, at the citywide scale, and at the site level scale. And that identified limited impacts in 3 certain categories, which include open space, traffic, and early education in certain neighborhood types. And for those impact categories, we work with those agencies throughout the environmental review process to develop mitigation strategies. We also more broadly, outside of those impact categories, even where impacts were not identified because of the incremental nature of this change, because it's over a wide geography and not in a specific location, there may not be an impact, for example, to the sewer system. No sewer system impact was identified. That doesn't mean there's no sewer needs that DEP doesn't need to address. They obviously do, and we've heard tonight about, it's one particular project they're working on, and they will we continue to talk with them, and they will continue to work on those as part of the environmental review. All of those peer agencies are key stakeholders. Second, I just want to adjust the ADU.
The draft on your website?
Yes, you can access the draft environmental impact statement on the zoning application portal on ZAP, which is you should all have access to it. Second question was about ADUs and affordability. So ADUs will not have an affordability requirement. You as the homeowner, as the property owner, will be allowed to charge, what the market will bear. Rents, the high rents are a consequence of our housing shortage because rents are set through supply and demand. When the demand for housing is so much greater than the supply, housing costs are high. ADUs have, proven in other localities to be a low-cost housing option compared to other housing types. People often rent them below market rate to people they know, or they use them for a family member, something like that. They're also small and therefore more naturally affordable. But there will not be an income requirement unless an owner participates in optional tax incentive program that HPD runs or something like that. But the zoning will not have an income requirement. And finally, you asked about Homes Now, the presentation we heard before. So I don't want to speak, particularly to that proposal, as that's a separate proposal that, as Representative Sinclair, I'm not going to comment on right now. But I do want to say that this text amendment opens up more opportunities for all forms of housing, and that includes affordable housing that's participating in these great HPD programs. So HPD needs a place to use its subsidy, and so this will open up, all this does will open up more opportunities for HPD to use its subsidy, including one of those programs was, for affordable homeownership. As I mentioned, those affordable homeownership programs, we're working, very closely with HPD on this, and they've told us those, limited equity cooperative programs work best in a small-scale building like the missing middle proposals. So we actually think these could work hand in glove with HPD proposals. So this will just open up opportunities for all types of housing, including those HPD projects. Thanks.
No, you can see South Fast wants to drive on the freeway. Positive. Can we leave Fall behind? Yo, should I be in the diversity party? No. No, I don't know.
It sounds a little bit too much like a one-size-fits-all program. You commented that a relatively few areas did most of the build-up. Well, I remember when I first moved here, when I was a teenager, there was a lot of open space and a lot of building occurred. Well, we're pretty much built up. The hypothetical, vacant spot on Northern Boulevard, I don't think it exists. The proposals maybe have to be able to fit the various neighborhoods. And for example, you're going to reduce parking because it's near the subway. 37th Avenue and Roosevelt Avenue are the worst double parking, maybe not the worst, but it's pretty bad. And you can't, if you reduce off-street parking in that area, you're only going to make the neighborhood worse. The builders will be glad to do it. And the builders, they'll argue, no, our buildings are perfect, you're up to code. But we can't be, all right, you're right.
Was there a question?
No, we can't.
Oh, okay. All right, one more question, that's it.
I yield. Unless someone else wants to say
One more question.
What's our favorite topic? Give it to Bell. Give it to Bell.
So today I had the opportunity to go to the Shane conference, and the city of Yes was brought up by the HPD commissioner. And the comment that he made is that he kind of wished that like housing would kind of count as infrastructure, and they also dived into the housing crisis that we're facing now. So I'm sorry, that's not a question, it's just a comment. But what I do have to say, because I'm very passionate about this topic, is that I just want everyone to take into consideration the times that we're living in, the generation, this cohort. I know people that have been here for years, thank you for everything that you've done and all around the community. But this generation faces different challenges. We don't, with inflation, interest rates are high, rent is going up, and at this point, we don't really have anything. So it's like, we need something. There's people that want to live in these neighborhoods, want to live in this neighborhood, do great things in this neighborhood, want their children to grow up in this neighborhood, participate in this neighborhood. And it's like, at the rate that we're going, these opportunities are not going to be available to them. So it's very important that we really take this into consideration. And also, the comment about parking, I hear what you're saying, but let's be a little bit more humanitarian here. What's more important, parking your car, people having a roof over their heads? So pretty much, I just want everyone to just take that into consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Did you want to answer, or because that was just a statement?
All right. Hello, everyone, again. I want to make sure that we're not minimizing our members, okay? Everyone is entitled to their opinion. I'm going to say that again. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. If someone thinks parking or housing, that's their opinion, and they're entitled to it. This is Community Board 3, so we listen to everyone. Now, to you guys, thank you very much for the presentation. Appreciate it. I believe over 80% of community boards have voted no on this already, from what I've read. That's neither here nor there. We have our own minds. We're going to vote how we want. But the plan, when I read it over, it has more about overcrowding. And we all know that when it's overcrowding, less policing, more of this, it comes to our area. It's not in Forest Hills. It's not in the Whitestone. It's not in Bayside. I'm a big proponent for sewer systems. Well, I was heartbroken to find out the Whitestone and Forest Hills got a new sewer system. But East Elmhurst, North Corona is the catch basin for all of Queens. So if you're saying that this is saying that, okay, you're building a 3-story or 4-story building next to me. Well, where's the infrastructure to support that? Don't have it. This is another plan, in my humble opinion, that's put out by the city that's not well thought out. And I'm a developer. I make 1 families, 3 families, but I reconstruct the sewer system. I reconstruct everything that's there. A lot of guys don't do that. So giving the city over to developers doesn't help rentals, because as you just stated, even though it conflicted with what you gave out, rentals is what the market can bear. We have it all over now. Northern Boulevard was brought up. 1 bedroom apartment there is on $2,700. One on 94th Junction, 34th Avenue that they're building, 600 square foot is about $2,400. If you want a 1 bedroom, it's $3,000, I think $200. That's not affordable. Okay, this is what we're coming into. And I understand the point about younger people wanting things, but older people want the same thing. We're being priced out. We're the ones that have worked and enslaved, or whatever you want to call it, and we're barely holding on to our houses. So to build more structure and overcrowd the area doesn't really make sense. I just want to end on one thing. I live on Ditmars Boulevard. A gentleman sold his house. It's a 2-family. Okay? He was a fireman. I won't get into his name. You have the right to sell your house to anybody you want. Well, they have 10 rooms on one bedroom thing, one floor, and they have 10 bedrooms on the other floor that they built and put in there. Called the building department, at least 6 times to go over there and check that. That's not right. That shouldn't be that way. Well, it burnt down. Now I'm on a block with a burnt out building on it. Now, what does that do for me, who I've worked very hard to get what I've gotten, but now my house has gone down in price because of this. And this is what's happening throughout the city. And I don't know why our politicians can't open their eyes up to it and say, this is what's happening. You're not lowering anything. Everything is raising. I'm gonna give you a chance to retort, of course. All right, in fact, let's do that now because it's almost gone.
Okay, I'm going to reply to 2 general points you've raised. One is about overcrowding and related, I think, enforcement issues, and one is about the high housing costs. And so first, overcrowding. When we're talking about overcrowding, we want to think about too many people in a single unit is like the definition of overcrowding. That's very different than saying, there's more housing units of an appropriate size, high quality for people in this neighborhood. Overcrowding in a home is a, hazard. It's a public health issue, and it's a consequence of our shortage of housing. Because there isn't enough housing, including, and then some of the neighborhoods you mentioned in Whitestone and Bayside, in Forest Hills, because neighborhoods have not added housing, people are forced into unsafe and hazardous living conditions. Yes, but their failure to add housing is one of the drivers of the housing shortage, which is why people are living in these unsafe conditions. People who are, living multiple to a room and overcrowded, it's because they have nowhere else to go. There isn't housing available to them. So this proposal aims to address the root cause of the housing shortage by adding more housing, which is also the root cause of high housing costs. So by adding more housing, we believe we can lower housing costs, make rents not rise as much as they otherwise would. I also want to highlight, since you've brought up, the high rents in this area, we do, believe that supply side solutions, adding more supply, is key to addressing high housing costs. But we also want to highlight that there are income restricted initiatives as part of this proposal, including universal affordability preference. Universal affordability preference makes an affordability requirement for any units located in that 20% bump we've mentioned a few times, affordable to households earning 60% AMI, which is about $80,000 for a family of 3. This is significantly lower than existing zoning tools like voluntary inclusionary housing, so it makes housing more affordable, permanently income restricted to the households that need it most. And by the introduction of income averaging, it'll help to reach even more deeply affordable, create more even deeply affordable units and reach even lower income households. Because we're totally on the same page that houses are too high, people are being priced out, and that's why we believe we need to add more housing. Thanks.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presentation. Chair Hamlet, this is your part. I'm giving you the mic.
Thank you, Chair. We have what everyone in our midst regarding this type of text amendment. The possibility of the position to enhance our housing monitoring. Also, we also have an opportunity to address the conditions of the zoning laws, which are antiquated and flexible, and they need to be improved. It's not just a housing thing, it's a changing of law so we can make a better environment for housing for everyone. But I know like the questions that you may have, but hopefully you will be able to ask them now while we have the experts here. So if you have any questions, please come do it now at this point in order to address everybody's needs. Because these, I don't think the department, I don't think our department city plan is trying to do anything that's sinister. They're trying to do something in terms of what the lack of the shortcomings of the zoning resolution. So anyway, yes.
Hi, thanks. My name is Aaron. I'm a local resident in Jackson Heights. I thought it may be helpful for us to hear from some of the experts who've had more experience looking at housing policy like across the country and around the world, to maybe provide a few examples of other locations where similar changes and amendments have been made and what that's meant for those local markets. Because I think as we're trying to decide whether like these changes to the zoning and housing are a good idea for the city, it'd be helpful for people to be able to understand what it might look like 5 or 10 years down the road. And there might be other places in the world or the country where they are 5 or 10 years farther down the road. And that could make this maybe a little more attractive to people who have skepticism about the changes that might need to happen to add more people to the city.
Thank you. I think that's their job. They're trying to sell it to us. They should be the ones to present that. That's a great idea. I mean, I didn't mean to answer that.
That's okay. Okay, so far as that.
I'm sorry, hello? Yeah. No, I meant that you should approach them and give your idea. Yeah, because, 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't want to be out here, me personally.
Well, this is a hot topic, but thank you for your participation. At this point in time, we have to go to the next application. And that's regarding landmarks. This is involving Jackson Heights Library expansion, 3551 81st Street. And I'd like to invite Ms. Anna Torrington in reference to this project. You're right. Okay.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Luisa Benedetto. I'm the Director of Government Affairs at Queens Public Library. Thanks for having us tonight. Before DEC starts the presentation, I just want to also recognize my colleague, Mark Matthew, who's from our Capital Department. And I also want to thank all our elected officials who are supportive of the project, but two in particular who are financially supportive, and that's the mayor and the council members. So thank you, and I'm gonna pass it to Ari.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Louisa. My name is Ari Gershman. My pronouns are he, him. I'm from the New York City Department of Design and Construction. I'm joined this evening by my colleague here, June Simon, also from DDC. We're here to present on Jackson Heights Library renovation and expansion. And our designers are here. I'll allow them to introduce themselves, but I just want to thank the community board. We've already presented at the committee level, and this evening, thank you to the community board for inviting us to present to the full board and to the public who's here this evening. So I'll turn it over to our designers.
Thanks everybody for having us. My name's Dan Hemmendinger. For any of you in the audience who are curious, it's really weird with the, yeah, it's so bizarre. So I'm a project manager at Allied Works Architecture. We're an architecture firm based in Gowanus. This is Leslie Dugro from our office. The two of us, with some other team members, have been working on the library since like November 2021. And we're really excited to just provide an update on the our design and plans for Jackson Heights Library. So kind of similar to, I think, how DEP did this. We have printouts that are basically a slide presentation that we would have given you. How about now? Yeah. That we would have given you digitally. So just to kind of go slide by slide. For those who don't know, but I'm pretty sure all of you do, Jackson Heights Library Branch is located on 81st Street, just off 37th. So it's located next to the Renaissance Charter School. How about here? Yeah. But it's otherwise surrounded by kind of brick, multi-story residential co-op buildings. And the library is in what's known it's what's known as a contributing structure to the Jackson Heights Historic District, which means that any proposed changes, like the ones that we're making, some of those they have to be approved by Landmarks Preservation Commission, which is a big part of why we're here today. We also want to give you just an overview of the library. To kind of go to the top right slide, our proposed changes in short are basically a new expansion on the back of the library, which you can kind of see blown up here. And afterwards, if you want to just come up and look at the boards, since they're a bit blown up, I encourage you to do so. So we're going to be introducing kind of a 3-story addition on the back, new public outdoor reading garden, a complete renovation of the interior, which are sort of depicted on these boards and later in this presentation, and basically all new energy efficient building systems and lighting, improvements to the street facade, basically to restore the library back to its original kind of intended appearance. And then the new building will also be LEED Gold, so extremely energy efficient. So bottom left is a little schedule, which is probably hard to read, but we've been designing this thing since winter 2021. We just submitted construction documents for the city to review like this past week. So we're going to be in a kind of review and approvals process for a few months, and we're hoping that ideally we can kick off construction in spring 2025, and ideally open in something like spring or summer 2027. So bottom right, just to kind of take you through some of the kind of envisioned changes to the spaces. What you're looking at in that image, which is also in the middle here, is the proposed main lobby for the library. So basically what you're looking at is a view where you're coming through the front doors, and what you're seeing is a main circulation desk on the left, and this new proposed outdoor reading garden through the glass in the rear yard. Okay, I'll try to go quick through these. What you can also see is the improvements that we're proposing for the adult reading room, which is the top view. If you flip the page over, you'll see these views. Basically a double height space with a ton of daylight. Similarly in this bottom image here, a ton of daylight for the teens reading room. There's much more space for books, lots more lounge areas. We're growing the children's room, expanding the program for teens. It's actually really exciting. And then I think the other important thing that I have to highlight here is basically the street facade, historic kind of restoration scope. The library right now has its original windows from 1953. They're not very energy efficient. They're single pane glass, so acoustically they're also not very good. The originals were operable. We have to replace them because they're so old, and so we're proposing to replace them with fixed windows. This will really help with acoustics for school buses that go by with the charter school next door. And it'll also help with energy, and basically the existing windows have been sealed for so long anyway. In terms of other things, the stone on the facade has been kind of painted with kind of anti-graffiti paint. We're trying to restore and replace the stone everywhere that it's needed to do so, but also kind of restore the signage back to its historic character. And with that,
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Listen, we have a time thing going on here. Of course, we're outside. This is a project that the community board is very much behind. Okay? So all that, we're good. All right? Thank you, guys. Mr. Hamlet.
Thank you, Frank. Okay, everyone. Thank you for your participation and your attendance.
All right, we're going to move on to the next step. Chair Edmund. Edmund's not here, so we're going to have two of our other chairs do this. One of our chairs here, Ann Brown. She's of the Transportation Airport Committee, and we have Ms. Tony. All right.
Thank you. Okay, so we have about 5 let me find the sweet spot. Okay, we have about 5 applications, liquor license applications. Is Nueta Inc. here? All in one. Oh, Netra. Netra Inc., 8310 37th Avenue. Okay, we're gonna move to the next one. Dolo Fran. Okay, you know what? All right. So come on up, Representative Dolo Fran. So quickly tell us about your place of business, the hours, things like that. We've been through this.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Queens Community Board 3, for having us this evening. My name is Sandra Olaya with Team CO Group, and I'm here with the 3 new, not new, but because you guys have been around for many years, but okay. So to my left, I have Mr. Jorge Lopez, which has been, Franco, that has been within this establishment since 2008. And then I have here Monica Lopez and Natalia Duque. This application is a new application for full liquor. The background for this restaurant is that we're doing a corporate change, which means that Monica is going to be taking over her father's shares, which is a current licensee at this location, and Natalia is taking over her father's share, also an active principal at this licensed premise. Excuse me. The corporation name is Dula Fran Corporation. The DBA will continue as is, Las Margaritas Restaurant and Sports Bar. The location is 83-22, 37th Avenue. Again, this is a simple corporate change. Everything that's currently existing since 2008 will remain. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, does anyone have any questions? But this is a simple corporate change, and
the fathers are current active principals, and we're just obviously Monica and Natalia taking over their father's shares.
That's good. Anyone, board members? Anyone has any questions? Okay, thank you. I will try Netra again. Is anyone, any representative from Netra? Okay. Tell us about Umbras. This is also a method of operation change. Okay, same thing.
Hello again. To my left, I have Carlos, the owner of Umbras Lounge. This application is being submitted as part of the method of operation. We felt the need to make sure that he's operating as is within his application with the State Liquor Authority, and we're just submitted to add a DJ to this premise. That's pretty much it.
Thank you. Stand up, please. You're a board member, right? Oh, okay.
Hello, okay. My question is, prior to the DJ, was it recorded music?
Thank you for having us. That's all I said. I thought she asked you. Oh, okay, all right. I was looking down, sorry. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Okay, I'm not, please, my Spanish. Lechoneria. All right, there you go. I learned some Spanish tonight. La lechoneria colombiana. See, now, anybody here? Okay. Thank you. Okay, so this is a wine, beer, cider license. Okay, please tell us about the business, hours, how you will affect the community. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sandra Hong. I have on my left Alejandro Montanes. He is the owner for La Lechoneria Colombiana Inc. And we have a DBA called La Carameleria Colombiana. So pretty much it's our third location. But we have our first location that we opened about 3 years ago in Junction Boulevard. And we also have a second one that we opened about a year ago in New Jersey. And we are expanding our brand in our third location right here at the heart of Jackson Heights. So basically, this is a very casual, very family-oriented type of establishment restaurant. And we're proposing only to have only recorded music. We only house at least 13 tables and 44 chairs. And here, Mr. Alejandro has plenty of experience making beautiful panales from Colombia. So that's his specialty that he has a restaurant. We also offer breakfast and lunches in our food menu. Pretty much the restaurant is about 700 square feet. It's very, very small establishment. But if you have any personal questions to the owner, he's here. The address is on 8308 37th Avenue. And the hours of operations is from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. Thank you.
Okay, lastly, La Lugradas. La Lugradas. La Legradas. There we go. La Legradas. That's right. I like the sound of that. Oh.
It's called rhododendron, Laliguras. Hello, good evening, everybody, and Community Board number 3. My name is Namge Lama. I'm representing Laliguras. I have Nima K. Sepa. She's sitting in front of me. She's the current owner of Laliguras restaurant. Laliguras restaurant has been established since 2008, but she bought the business in September of 2002. It's a fine Nepalese cuisine serving all communities here in Jackson Heights. We are simply changing the liquor type license. She has wine and beer license now, but she wants to serve liquor, the full liquor, in her premise. Premise has 19 seats, 6 tables, and bar has 6 seats. The area is about 1,200 square feet, and operation hours is Monday to Friday, 11 from 12 p.m. and Friday to Sunday from 11 to 1 p.m. Everybody, please welcome. She's a new owner, woman-owned business. We have to support her. Let's make it happen. She's best cook as well. The location is 3763 76th Street. And that's it. Any question?
Anybody else have any questions? Great, thank you. Okay, that's it. We will continue the rest and take a vote in the next session.
Check. All right, we're about to go into executive session. I'm going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
I guess by default I have to do it tonight.
Yes.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
दादा
Okay, we'd like to take a vote right now. This is executive session. This is only people that can talk right now, people that can vote, or the board members. That's the rules. The first thing is a motion to adopt the agenda.
Yes.
All right, second. Can I get a vote? All those in favor?
Yes.
Anybody against? Let the record reflect no one. Anyone extensions? Let the record reflect no one. It's certified. All right, motions by Land Use Committee. Mr. Hamlin?
When the people are there. I know my bosses. Now it's better. Please, now just.
Okay, thank you. Resolution
get my
for
morning?
City of US text amendment. City of US
When
for
I'm alive,
housing
if I
opportunity.
don't get it,
New York City is facing severe housing opportunity, affordability crisis. Outdated, stricter and complicated.
Yeah, they can take it. But it needs to be a letter.
It's not that right out here.
Otherwise, I'm sure it won't be a problem.
Richard is not here. Morning isn't here. So we'll come here.
I'm making it possible for people to get more housing. Has eight components of proposals: low density areas, town center zoning, legalized housing, road. Okay. Plan has eight key components or proposals: low density areas, town center zonings, legalizing housing above business in low density areas, transit-oriented development, legalized 3 to 5 story buildings on qualifying sites near public transit in low density areas, accessory dwelling units, allow backyard houses, garage conversions, and basement apartments, giving homeowners extra cash and providing space for multi-generational families. District fixes give homeowners additional flexibility to adapt their homes to the needs, their family needs. In medium to high density areas, universal affordability preferences allow buildings to add at least 20% more housing if the additional homes are affordable, delivering affordable housing to high-cost neighborhoods. citywide. Remove costly parking mandates, reduce housing costs by making parking optional in new buildings. Convert non-residential buildings to housing. Make it easier for underused non-residential buildings such as offices to be converted into housing. Allow this must be age. Okay. Make it easy for underused non-residential buildings, such as offices, to be converted into housing. Allow conversions for buildings constructed before 1991 and expand eligibility to where housing is allowed. Small and shared housing. Reintroduce housing with shared kitchens and other common facilities. Allow buildings with more studios and one-bedroom apartments for New Yorkers who want to live alone but don't have the options today. Campuses. Make it easier for campus like churches to have new buildings, bringing in money for repairs and new facilities and housing. Recommendations. Joint Land Use and Housing Committee, after review of this matter, recommends that the proposed citywide zoning text amendment regarding CVS housing opportunity be approved in its entirety. Thank you. May I get a second on this? Second. Thank you.
Call for the motion.
Any discussion here? Any discussions or comments?
Thank you very much. And after the committee meeting, there was conversation about stormwater, which is a really real concern. So after the meeting, the committee meeting, I looked at the draft environmental impact statement about stormwater, and it said that a lot of the redevelopment and construction that could result from this zoning text amendment is going to be vertical, not horizontal. And that horizontal development is the thing that leads to additional stormwater runoff, which could cause additional flooding. I was really happy to read that. It also said that new developments are going to be subjected to the Unified Stormwater Rule of 2022, which has much higher standards for mitigating stormwater runoff than buildings that were built prior. So that also makes me feel good. But like Hamlet said, like the chair of the committee said, we're in a housing crisis. We need to act. The current situation is not sustainable. People are suffering. This is part of the solution, and I hope that the committee will vote in favor, that the board will vote in favor.
Thank you. So I'm actually a social worker, and I'm part of the community board. I love working with people, helping people, assisting them, and just being involved. And the fact is that we're in a housing crisis. There's a solution, not the perfect solution, but it's a solution. It's the start to something. It's better than not doing anything because look where we're at now. So I know there's a lot of concern, but from a social worker perspective, if there's an issue, we brainstorm, we do our best to solve it the best way we can. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I also took the liberty of digging up the executive summary of the draft EIS, and I think the time frame is instructive. They're looking at 58,000 to 109,000 new units citywide by 2030. They're talking about a 15-year time frame, I would say about 38 to 7,300 housing units a year. Given that spread, it seems the chances of any one neighborhood getting just this massive drop that's going to blow everything out seem quite small. I mean, 15 years is a long time in capital projects. MTA capital plans, for example, are 5 years. So at that rate of housing, there's also an opportunity to adapt, and I think that justifies the confidence that there are limited manageable impacts. Thank you.
Any more? Call the question.
Okay, I'd just like to say, on all issues, please vote your thoughts. Okay? We can listen to everything, please listen to yourself. There are plenty of commercial buildings that are empty in New York City right now. There are empty apartments in NYCHA housing. All right? I just want to put that out there.
Yes, I am. I'm part of the board. My name is Jasmine, but I grew up in the Corona neighborhood. My family owns a home. We've owned our home since I was about 5 years old. My neighbors no longer live in my community, the people I grew up with, not because Corona became a place where we had to move out and we couldn't afford it anymore, but because the developers came knocking on our doors and offered them cash that, let's be for real, our neighborhood is from people that came from other countries and saved a little bit of money to buy property here. So now they bought a single family home, 2-family home at, back in those days, 100,000 or maybe even less. Now you have a developer knocking on the door offering them $1 million cash. These single family homes where there was parking now became multi-family homes. There is no parking, there is no space. On my block, we have 3 elementary schools that were built. That's being built on my tax dollar. So I understand there is a need for housing. I am a humanitarian myself, but I think we need to see the bigger picture and what's impacting here. And the overall thing is, I agree with Frank, there's other neighborhoods that they can move these ideas to. Not Corona, not Jackson Heights, not East Elmhurst, not our area. Like I said, my friends are gone, they're long gone, and it's all because the developers knock on the door, they have the money, so if we give them the opportunity, it's gonna happen again. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
So, hi, Lisa Musulum. I just want to add on to something. I noticed today I was walking around Forest Hills, and they also knock down houses there, small ones, and they build mansions for one person.
Good point, Lisa.
Any more questions?
Hi, and thank you. And that lady that's over in Corona, I just want to piggyback because if many of you, if you're still here, or were on the board 10, 15 years ago, we went through a down zoning project that took years, okay? And the reason we did it is because of what the lady said, because the developers were coming in, buying these single family homes and building what they wanted. And over in East Elmhurst, we were fortunate enough to get in and stop them and have our area down zone so they could not come in. And as far as Frank, and I think Hamlet said, you know, what city planning may or may not do, but we had an issue with city planning that we had thought we voted on a down zone area, which turned out in the end, city planning didn't include that to be down zone, and where a developer came in and was planning to put up a 25 to 30 story building on Northern Boulevard. I agree, housing is needed, but I still think there needs to be a process of how it's done. If a developer wants to do it, go through the proper process, go through the year, and let it have the community board and the community have an input as to what's going to be put next to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And we're going to call a question at this time.
All right, everyone. I'm stepping in for Secretary Richard Mullings this evening. This is how this is going to go. I'm going to say your name. You're going to say your vote as loud as you can, and I'm going to repeat your vote back to you. All right. This is for the City of Yes Housing Opportunity Text Amendment. Pat Beckles. Pat Beckles, no.
No.
Ann Brown.
No.
Ann Brown, no. Bill Bruno.
Yes.
Bill Bruno, yes. Elba Bodida, she's not here. Mark Burmester. Mark Burmester, yes. Deborah Chang. Deborah Chang is a yes. Mukeeth Chowdhury.
No.
Mukeeth Chowdhury is a no. Marjorie Clark Woolridge. Marjorie Clark Woolridge is a no. Shiv Das.
No.
Shiv Das is a no. Sonia Davis Roberts. Sonia Davis Roberts is a no. Michael De Valera? No. Vivian Dock. I'm sorry? Vivian Dock is a no. Margaret Dozier. Margaret Dozier is a no. Renetta English.
No.
Renetta English is a no. Oscar Escobar. Oscar Escobar is a yes. Mr. Gideon.
No.
Mr. Gideon is a no. Kara Heffernan. Kara Heffernan is a yes. Lorinda Hooks. Michael Johnson.
No.
Sorry. Michael Johnson. Mr. Hollader.
No.
Mr. Hollader is a no. Kevin Usnaboa, I am a no. Mr. Karki. Mr. Karki is a yes. Edward Kiernan's not here. Stephen Kulhanek is not here. Marta Lebreton. Marta Lebreton is a no. Lisa Masulam. Lisa Masulam is a no. Jamal's not here. Laverne Nimmons. Laverne Nimmons is a no. Nuala O'Doherty. Nuala O'Doherty is a yes. Dorothy Phelan. Dorothy Phelan is a no. Mr. Rodriguez, Diana Rodriguez Davila? Okay. Leancia Romero. Leancia Romero is a yes. Jessica Rosario. Jessica Rosario is a no. Tammy Rose? Edmund Rosamond, no. David Rosero. David Rosero is a no. Giselle Santana.
Yes.
Giselle Santana is a yes. Dawn Sif? Fahad? Jasmine Tavares. Jasmine Tavares is a no. Frank Taylor. No. Arthur Tyler. Frank Taylor is a no. Arthur Tyler. No. Arthur Tyler is a no. Chanel Thomas Henry. Chanel Thomas Henry is a no. Arsaf Uthamalabe? No. Hamlet Wallace? Yes. Edwin Wesley? No. Is there anyone that I did not call? Okay, let me count the votes. All right, there were 10 yeas, 23 nays. The motion does not carry. Which means
Yes, you have to do that. Yeah,
All
you
right.
have to do that. Yes, you have to do that. Yes, Frank.
Okay. Okay. Okay, because the motion did not pass, we now have to re-vote on the City of Yes housing opportunity text amendment to vote not in support of the text amendment. So, which means if you vote yes, you're voting against the City of Yes. If you vote no, that means you're voting for the City of Yes. All right, if you're voting against the City of Yes, you will vote yay. If you are voting for the City of Yes, you will vote nay. Does everyone understand?
Can I translate that voting differently from the way you voted originally?
No, I think they understand.
You have to vote differently.
Yes. So essentially, in the last vote, if you voted yes, you're going to vote no if you want to remain consistent. If you voted no, you're going to vote yes if you want to remain consistent with your previous vote, unless you want to change your vote at this time. Okay? Now we're going to do it. All right. We're calling to question. All right. City of Yes, Housing Opportunity Text Amendment. The committee is not in approval, or the board is not in approval, so a yes vote is a no for the City of Yes. Pat Eccles. Pat Eccles is a yes. Ann Brown.
Yes.
Ann Brown is a yes. Bill Bruno.
No.
Bill Bruno is a no. Mark Burmester. Mark Burmester is a no. Deborah Chang. Deborah Chang is a no. Mukeet Chowdhury.
Yes.
Mukeet Chowdhury is a yes. Marjorie Clark Woolridge. Marjorie Clark Woolridge is a yes. Shiv Das. Shiv Das is a yes. Sonia Davis Roberts. Sonia Davis Roberts is a yes. Vivian Dock. Vivian Dock is a yes. Margaret Dossier. Margaret Dossier is a yes. Renetta English.
Yes.
Renetta English is a yes. Oscar Escobar. Oscar Escobar is a no. Mr. Gideon.
Yes.
Mr. Gideon is a yes. Kara Heffernan. Kara Heffernan is a no. Mr. Hollader.
Yes.
Mr. Hollader is a yes. Kevin Yusnaboa, I am a yes. Mr. Karki. Sorry? No. Mr. Karki is a no. Marta Leberton. Marta Leberton is a yes. Lisa Masulam. Lisa Masulam is a yes. Laverne Nimmons. Laverne Nimmons is a yes. Dorothy Phelan. Dorothy Phelan is a yes. Leoncio Romero. Leoncio Romero is a no. Jessica Rosario. Jessica Rosario is a yes. David Rosero. David Rosero, you're a no? David Rosero is a yes. Giselle Santana. Giselle Santana is a no. Jasmine Taveras. Jasmine Taveras is a yes. Frank Taylor. Frank Taylor is a yes. Arthur Tyler. Arthur Tyler is a yes. Chanel Thomas Henry. Chanel Thomas Henry, yes. Arsath Uthamalabi. Arsath is a yes. And Hamlet Wallace. Hamlet Wallace is a no. Oh, Nuala O'Doherty, I'm sorry, I missed you. Nuala, you're a no. Sorry, my bad. Oh. Okay. All right, 23 yeas, 10 nays. Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, so 23 yeas, 11 nays. The City of Yes approval motion to not support has carried.
Yeah, the second case that we're going to be discussing tonight is 3551 81st Street, Jackson Heights Branch Library, LLC. Jackson Heights, New York, Jackson Heights Historic District.
proposed work. Comprehensive restoration and building addition of existing masonry and stone. Hello, that's good. Action. Receive approval of all the restoration work concerning with the primary facade, doors, etc., and building addition from LPC in accordance with Landmarks Preservation Commission laws and regulations within Title 63. In the matter of an application regarding 3551 81st Street, Jackson Heights, New York, Anna Killion, Department of Design and Construction, is seeking approval of all work required to complete all work regarding the Jackson Heights Branch Library in Jackson Heights Historic District to be addressed by the Landmark Preservation Commission standards and regulations. Conclusion. After meeting with the New York City Department of Design and Construction and review of this application, the committee finds that proposed restoration and addition of the Jackson Heights Library is acceptable within the historic district. We recommend that the application accepts our approval and within the following recommendation and provisions. Provisions and recommendations. Due to new addition, construction, and demolition of existing library, rapid abatements must be performed for the entire of work performed. Notices of all neighbors on 81st Street and 82nd Street and surrounding properties shall be required for alerting all regarding construction activity, noise, dust, closing of streets, sidewalks, and strict constructions involving safety and environment concerns and air quality. Three, the Renaissance School shall be kept informed in all its entirety of all scheduling during demolition and construction preparation. Example, construction fencing, bridging, scaffolding, and any of all safety measures for students, the public, health, and circulation. 4. A mobile library, unit shall be made available and provided with a location convenient for the student and public use during the construction period. Hamlet E. Wallace, Committee Co-Chairperson.
What?
Any comments or issues regarding? Okay, thank you. Call the question.
All right, this is for the Landmarks Preservation Committee, LQC122JH, Jackson Heights Library Expansion, located at 3551 81st Street. The committee recommends approval, so a yes vote is a yes. Okay, just want to show. Pat Beckles. Pat Beckles is a yes. Ann Brown.
Yes.
Ann Brown is a yes. Bill Bruno. Bill Bruno is a yes. Mark Burmester. Mark Burmester is a yes. Deborah Chang. Chang is a yes. Mr. Chowdhury.
Yes.
Chowdhury is a yes. Marjorie Clark Woolridge. Woolridge is a yes. Shiv Das. Shiv Das is a yes. Sonny Davis Roberts. Sonny Davis Roberts is a yes. Vivian Dock. Dock is a yes. Margaret Dozier. Dozier is a yes. Renetta English.
Yes.
English is a yes. Oscar Escobar. Oscar Escobar is a yes. Mr. Gideon.
Yes.
Mr. Gideon is a yes. Kara Heffernan. Heffernan is a yes. Mr. Hollader.
Yes.
Mr. Hollader is a yes. Kevin Usnaboa, I'm a yes. Mr. Karki. Mr. Karki is a yes. Marta Leberton. Marta Leberton is a yes. Lisa Masulam. Lisa Masulam is a yes. Liver Nimmons. Liver Nimmons is a yes. Nuala Doherty. Nula Doherty is a yes. Dorothy Phelan. Phelan is a yes. Ms. Nur. Ms. Nur is a yes. Beyonce Romero. Beyonce Romero is a yes. Jessica Rosario. Jessica Rosario is a yes. David Rosero. David? Yes. David Rosero is a yes. Giselle Santana. Yes. Giselle Santana is a yes. Jasmine Taveras. Jasmine Taveras is a yes. Frank Taylor. Yes. Frank Taylor is a yes. Arthur Tyler. Yes. Arthur Tyler is a yes. Chanel Thomas Henry. Thomas Henry is a yes. Arsaf? Arsaf is a yes. And Hamlet Wallace? Yes. Unanimous of 34 votes. The motion carries.
Thank you very much. Give these guys a hand. They do a heck of a job. Thank you, chairs. All right, we're going to move right on to Business Echo, where we have two of our other chairs taking the spots right now, which is great.
Thank you. Okay, we have one that did not show. That's, what is this? Metro. So we're going to skip that. So for Dolofan Corp, Margarita's Restaurant and Sports Bar, 83-22 37th Avenue, for a full liquor license. This is a new corporation change to replace 2 out of 3 corporate principals. The committee recommended approval of this application based on the stipulation. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay. So,
I just want to make a comment. The office did the stipulation that if the owner or the rep is here, if you could please redo the stipulation on a letterhead. Okay, just, what was submitted, just redo it on the letterhead. Okay?
With that said, we will, and notarized. So with that said, we will call the question, please. Can I have a second? Yep.
All right, so this is for Dolofan Corp., doing business as Las Margaritas Restaurant and Sport Bar, located at 83-22 37th Avenue, Jackson Heights. This is for a full liquor. The committee recommends approval, so a yes vote is a yes. Pat Beckles. Pat Beckles is a yes. Ann Brown. Ann Brown is a yes. Bill Bruno. Bill Bruno is a yes. Mark Burmester. Mark Burmester is a yes. Deborah Chang. Deborah Chang is a yes. Mr. Chowdhury.
Yes.
Mr. Chowdhury is a yes. Marjorie Cook-Woolridge. Marjorie Cook-Woolridge is a yes. Shiv Das.
Yes.
Shiv Das is a yes. Sonny Davis-Roberts. Sonny Davis-Roberts is a yes. Vivian Dock. Vivian Dock is a yes. Marco Dozier. Marco Dozier is a yes. Renetta English.
Yes.
Renetta English is a yes. Oscar Escobar. Oscar Escobar is a yes. Mr. Gideon. Mr. Gideon is a yes. Kara Heffernan. Kara Heffernan is a yes. Mr. Hollader.
Yes.
Mr. Hollader is a yes. Kevin Usnaboa, I'm a yes. Mr. Karki. Mr. Karki is a yes. Marta Leberton. Marta Leberton is a no. Lisa Masulam. Lisa Masulam is a yes. Liber Nimmons.
Yes.
Liber Nimmons is a yes. Mueller Doherty. Mueller Doherty is a yes. Dorothy Phelan.
Yes.
Dorothy Phelan is a yes. Ms. Nur. Ms. Nur is a no. Beyonce Romero. Beyonce Romero is a yes. Jessica Rosario. Jessica Rosario is a yes. David Rosero. David? Yeah. You gotta speak up, buddy. Thank you. David Rosero is a yes. Giselle Santana. Yes. Giselle Santana is a yes. Jasmine Taveras. Abstain. Frank Taylor.
Yes.
Frank Taylor is a yes. Arthur Tyler.
Yes.
Arthur Tyler is a yes. Chanel Thomas Henry. Chanel Thomas Henry is a yes. Arsaf. Arsath is a no. Hamlet Wallace? Hamlet Wallace is a yes. Jasmine, do you care to explain your abstention? Oh, you work in the industry, right? Yeah, okay, all right, good. All right, so that is... All right, 34 votes, 30 yeas, 3 nays, and 1 abstention. The motion carries.
Okay, up next is Hombres Lounge, located at 85-28 37th Avenue, and this is for a method of operation change. The committee recommends approval of a method of operations change application, adding a DJ for an existing on-premises full liquor license for this application. Any questions? Can we call a motion? A second? Yep.
Okay, this is, sorry, let me change my page here. This is for Hombres Lounge Incorporated, doing business as Hombres Lounge, located at 85-28 37th Avenue, Jackson Heights. This is for a method of operation change. The committee recommends approval. That means a yes vote is a yes. Pat Beckles? Yes. Pat Beckles is a yes. Ann Brown? Ann Brown is a yes. Bill Bruno? Bill Bruno is a yes. Mark Burmester? Mark Burmester is a yes. Deborah Chang? Deborah Chang is a yes. Mr. Chowdhury?
Yes.
Chowdhury is a yes. Marjorie Clark Woolridge? Marjorie Clark Woolridge is a yes. Shiv Das?
Yes.
Shiv Das is a yes. Sonny Davis Roberts? Sonny Davis Roberts is a yes. Vivian Dock? Vivian Dock is a yes. Margaret Dozier? Margaret Dozier is a yes. Renetta English?
Yes.
Renetta English is a yes. Oscar Escobar? Oscar Escobar, yes. Mr. Gideon?
Yes.
Mr. Gideon is a yes. Kara Heffernan? Kara Heffernan is a yes. Mr. Hollader?
Yes.
Mr. Hollader is a yes. Kevin Yusabo, I'm a yes. Mr. Karki? Mr. Karki is a yes. Marta Leberton? Marta Leberton is a no. Laverne Nimmons? Laverne Nimmons is a yes. Lisa Masulam? Lisa Masulam is a yes. Nuala Doherty? Nuala Doherty is a yes. Dorothy Phelan? Dorothy Phelan is a yes. Ms. Nur? Ms. Nur is a yes. Leoncio Romero? Leoncio Romero is a yes. Jessica Rosario? Jessica Rosario is a yes. David Rosero? David Rosero is a yes. Giselle Santana? Giselle Santana is a yes. Jasmine Tavares? Abstain. Frank Taylor? Frank Taylor is a yes. Arthur Tyler? Arthur Tyler is a yes. Chanel Thomas Henry? Chanel Thomas Henry is a yes. Arsath? Arsath is a no. Hamlet Wallace? Hamlet Wallace is a yes. Is there anyone I didn't call? Okay, 34 votes cast, 31 yeas, 2 nays, 1 abstention. The motion carries.
Okay, the last two. The Lancheria Colombiana, 8308 37th Avenue, wine and beer cider license. The committee recommends approval of this application on the premises for wine, beer, and cider. Do we have any questions?
Thank you guys for coming.
Okay. You second? Well, we can call it 1 second.
Dr. Ramon,
You don't have to. I got you.
Okay, this is for La Lechoneria Colombiana Incorporated, doing business as La Tamaleria Colombiana, located at 8308 37th Avenue, Jackson Heights. This is for wine, beer, cider. The committee recommends approval, so a yes vote is a yes. Just give me a second to get my right book here. Yeah, I got it. Pat Beckles. Pat Beckles is a yes. Ann Brown. Ann Brown is a yes. Bill Bruno.
Yes.
Bill Bruno is a yes. Mark Burmester. Mark Burmester is a yes. Deborah Chang. Deborah Chang is a yes. Mr. Chowdhury.
Yes.
Chowdhury is a yes. Marjorie Clark Woolridge. Woolridge is a yes. Chip Doss. Doss is a yes. Sonny Davis Roberts. Davis Roberts is a yes. Vivian Dock. Dock is a yes. Margaret Dozier. Dozier is a yes. Renetta English. English is a yes. Oscar Escobar. Oscar Escobar is a yes. Mr. Gideon. Gideon is a yes. Kara Heffernan. Heffernan is a yes. Mr. Hollader.
Yes.
Hollader is a yes. Kevin Usnabo, I am a yes. Mr. Karki. Karki is a yes. Marta Leberton. Leberton is a no. Lisa Masulam. Lisa Masulam is a yes. Laverne Nimmons.
Yes.
Laverne Nimmons is a yes. Nuala O'Doherty. Nuala O'Doherty is a yes. Dorothy Phelan. Dorothy Phelan is a yes. Ms. Nur. Nur is a yes. Leoncio Romero. Leon Romero is a yes. Jessica Rosario. Rosario is a yes. David Rosero. Yes. Rosero is a yes. Giselle Santana.
Yes.
Giselle Santana is a yes. Jasmine Tavares. Abstain. Frank Taylor. Frank Taylor is a yes. Arthur Tyler. Tyler is a yes. Chanel Thomas Henry. Chanel Thomas Henry is a yes. Arsath. No, Arsath is a no. Hamlet Wallace. Wallace is a yes. 34 votes cast, 31 yeas, 2 nays, 1 abstention. The motion carries.
This is the very last one. I want to thank you all in advance for sticking around. Okay, so La Liguras Restaurant, 37-63 76th Street, and this is a full liquor license application. The committee recommends approval of this application. Any questions? Okay, class change, full liquor license. Okay, call the question and then.
We have a second. Second.
이건 잠깐. 그렇지.
Test. All right, last one. This is for La Liguras Restaurant Inc., located at 3763A, 76th Street, Jackson Heights. This is for a class change full liquor. So a yes vote is a yes. Pat Beckles. Beckles is a yes. Ann Brown.
Yes.
Ann Brown is a yes. Bill Bruno.
Yes.
Bill Bruno is a yes. Mark Burmester. Burmester is a yes. Deborah Chang. Deborah Chang is a yes. Mr. Chowdhury.
Yes.
Chowdhury is a yes. Marjorie Clark Woolridge. Woolridge is a yes. Chip Doss.
Yes.
Chip Doss is a yes. Sonny Davis Roberts. Roberts is a yes. Vivian Dock. Dock is a yes. Margaret Dozier. Dozier is a yes. Renee English. Renee English is a yes. Escobar. Mr. Escobar is a yes. Mr. Gideon.
Yes.
Mr. Gideon is a yes. Kara Heffernan. Heffernan is a yes. Mr. Hollader.
Yes.
Mr. Hollader is a yes. Kevin Usnabo, I'm a yes. Mr. Karki. Mr. Karki is a yes. Marta Leberton. Marta Leberton is a no. Laverne Nimmons. Laverne Nimmons is a yes. Nuala O'Doherty. Nuala O'Doherty is a yes. Dorothy Phelan. Dorothy Phelan is a yes. Ms. Nur. Ms. Nur is a no. Leoncio Romero. Romero is a yes. Jessica Rosario. I'm getting attacked by votes, I'm sorry. Jessica Rosario is a yes. David Rosero. David Rosero is a yes. Giselle Santana. Giselle?
You have to step away.
Giselle?
She stepped away from the vote.
Oh, she stepped away. All right, she ain't here. Moving on. Jasmine Tavares. Abstained. Frank Taylor. Frank Taylor is a yes. Arthur Tyler. Arthur Tyler is a yes. Chanel Thomas Henry. Chanel Thomas Henry, yes. Arsath. Arsath is a no. Hamlet Wallace. Hamlet Wallace is a yes. Did I miss anyone? Oh, I'm sorry, Lisa. Lisa Masulam. My bad. Thank you. Anyone else? All right. 29 yeas, 3 nays, 1 abstention. The motion carries.
Okay, we're going to continue with the vote. With the Educational Committee, would you like to call the question, please? for the 16-year-old vote?
Okay.
Lisa?
Okay, this is for the educational committee.
This is for the Educational Committee, Vote 16, New York City. We would like a count by show of hands. Yay for supporting the vote 16 New York City, and yay or nay by a show of hands. You're doing it by a show of hands. Vote by a show of hands. So all of those in favor of supporting vote 16 New York City, please show hands. All those against?
Let me count the nays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, so
I'm sorry. Were there any nays over here? No nays.
those are yays, yes, okay. So the yays have it, and we will send a letter of support for vote 16 New York City. Thank you, board.
All right.
No. You would like to make a comment? Okay. Hold on a minute.
এত জায়গা ঘুরাইলেন পদ্মা দেখাইলেন সব দেখাইলেন মনে হয় আপনার
I'm saying if the minor is not responsible for what you're saying or what you're doing, how are you going to have responsible for whatever's doing now? I don't think it is set. I don't believe this is the point. Not even to argue.
Thank you. Not at this time. We already took the vote, and it's late in the evening. But we will have more conversations about it, David. Thank you.
All right, I'm going a little out of order. I like Ms. Vivian Dock, Health Committee Chair. I don't think Fosto's here, but I'd like her to say a few words about the health fair. Can you please let her come up, please?
God bless. God bless. God bless.
Good evening, everyone. Community Board 3 held its annual Leon Von Holden Memorial Health Care Expo 2024 on Saturday, that's better, June 8th at the Corona Health Center, 3433 Junction Boulevard, Corona, New York, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., an indoor-outdoor event. This is a 5-hour event, but with a setup time 1 hour before and dismantle 1 hour after, becomes 7 hours. 3 screenings on site, no insurance or ID required. Committee co-chair Fausto Rodriguez and I would like to acknowledge and thank all of the following for their time, dedication, generosity, and hard work to make this event a tremendous success. All who serve on the Health and Social Services Committee, which include board members, residents, and co-sponsors.
Cheers.
District Manager, Giovanna Reed. Office Staff, Keisha Howard. Community Coordinator. Community Board Chair, Frank Taylor. Volunteers consisting of other board members, community residents, and community organizations. Board members unable to attend that made contributions. Healthcare providers, participants. There were 65 tables and 130 providers. 115 police precinct officers, entertainers, and DJ. Legislators that attended in support of the event: Congresswoman Meng, Councilman Schaefer, Councilwoman Kubin, District Leader Montserrat. New York City Parks and Recreation for providing Wengo wagon. That's the state. And the Corona Health Center for hosting the event. Due to your generosity in donating and hard work, refreshments, entertainment, and raffles were provided throughout the event. Thanks to everyone for another one of our most successful health fairs. It was a great, exciting, and wonderful day. Many important screenings and a variety of important information was provided. It's a pleasure working with so many dedicated and caring people. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna cut things a little shorter. I'm gonna give my report. Please read the view from the chair. But at this time, if you guys will indulge me and me with my bad back, stand up here. If you guys could stand up for a second, please, because I don't think you really realize what just happened. If you guys could just stand up for a second, except for you, Ms. Doc. Can everybody else, Bill, Giselle, do I have to call you out by name? Can you please stand up for a second? Can you please give Ms. Doc and Ms. Reed a hand of applause? We had 65 vendors out there. 65, that's the biggest we've ever done. We served 3,500 to 4,000 people. Can I say that again? 3,500 to 4,000 people got served. We had 3 ambulances, actually, well, 2 took people away. But one guy was real stubborn, I won't know his name. But this is one of the biggest events, not only in Queens now, but in New York City. And it's because of you guys. It's because of you, Ms. Hefferman, that helped with the tables. Bill, the same thing with the tables. Listen, Pat Beckles, and where's Giselle? Where's Giselle? She brings her kids. Okay, and her kids serve the popcorn and the popcorn and the pretzels and everything else. David, all you guys who were here, Dorothy Phelan, she came, and that means a lot to me. Steve Kohanek, he didn't feel well, and he still came out. Steve is one of my mentors on this board that took me by the hand when I first walked in. Okay, and we still rock today. This is what Community Board 3 is about. This is what we do. Okay, so I thank you, Ms. Doc, and I thank you, Ms. Reed, for all that you guys do. Okay? Now, I want to clear something up also. I said something on a Zoom call that one person, I guess, took offense to. I couldn't put it any clearer than what I do, and I'm doubling down on this. I'm a man of African descent, raised by 8 women and 2 men, my father and his brother, which was my uncle, okay? I do not believe in any racism, sexism, anything that has an ism to it. I said at the Pride Parade, there were 3 people there, and I'd like her to stand right now too. David's wife. David's wife. Yes, I give you applause, I give you hand. She's at every event that we have, okay? There was 3 of us carrying our banner. One was David, next one was myself and Miss Reed, and David's wife. I took offense to that because, guys, whether you like me or don't like me, you vote for me. I'm the 3-time chair. You guys need to understand that you're not doing this for me. You're doing this for your community. You're the top 50 that were picked to do this type of work for your community. And at that time, I said on the Zoom call, I hope that wasn't a message from this board, because I will not accept anyone who is homophobic, black-phobic, Jewish-phobic, anti-Semitic. We don't have that on this board. And I will do everything in my power to get you removed if I find that out. That's what I said. I'm doubling down on that, and that's what I meant. Okay? So anybody that didn't hear what I said on that line, please, by all means, you can go to the office, Ms. Reed can send you the tape, but that's what I said, and that's what I stand by. I believe in everyone having their own freedom. As long as it does not affect someone else, your rights are no bigger than the next guy's rights, but we all have to live here together. And we might as well do that in friendship and love. The hate, we got no room for that. There's no room for the hate. And I will not accept it on this board. All right? So that's being said, I'm gonna hand the mic over to Ms. Reed at this time. And listen, at the end, we got food and stuff. If we have any legislators that people want to say anything, please step up now. Ms. Reed?
Now I'm speechless. I just want to thank the board for their hard work this session. And you will be rewarded with more work come September. However, again, this is a hard-working board, very dedicated. And there's a lot out there for the community is having to address. So continue supporting the community, continue your dedication. I just also briefly want to say thank you to Ms. Dock, to Frank Taylor, to all the members of the committee and also members of the board, but a very special thank you to Mr. G. Mr. G. Let me just say, this gentleman makes things happen. You don't see him, standing out and speaking, not too often. However, he puts all of these events together, setting up the tables, organizing transportation, doing all the things that's necessary for us to succeed. So thank you, Mr. G. Greatly appreciate what you're doing. Lastly, I was trying to thank, or rather wish Mr. Kevin Hughes Naboa a happy birthday. Yay, Kevin! Yeah. His birthday was on June the 8th, and I hope that he celebrated thoroughly. With that, have a wonderful summer. Look out for lots of emails from me. Thank you.
Okay, we'll hear from our legislators this time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Montalvo. I'm here on behalf of Councilmember Shaker Krishnan, who couldn't be here today. I just have some very brief updates. I'll make sure to keep it brief, as will my colleagues over here next to me. Budget negotiations are still ongoing. The council member is committed to making sure to fight to restore cuts to libraries, parks, cultural arts, and early childhood education. It's been a tough fight, but we hope to finalize a deal by the end of the month. The council is committed to ensuring that this budget gives New Yorkers the investment and services and spaces they deserve. Hazeland, as you might be aware of, last month we hosted a rally in front of Hazeland, an illegal smoke shop in front of 82nd Street. a block away from our schools and our public library. It's now shut, it's been padlocked and removed from the premises. We will continue to work with the Sheriff's Office, DA's office, and our state partners and other legal dispensaries in our community. DOT, we're pushing the Department of Transportation on safer street designs for our community. Mango Rico, we are working with sanitation and DCWP on Mango Rico and vendor issues on 37th Avenue, and we are already seeing results on Mango Rico respecting stoop line by giving back sidewalk spaces. We'll continue to work on this issue and other sanitation issues as well. Vendors, last week, the council member met with Street Vendor Project and Sanitation to discuss 37th Avenue. We've done education for vendors, but some are abusing the system and they are an issue. Sanitation has increased enforcement and we are seeing results and we will continue to push. Lastly, ending on a positive note, last night, over 1,200 neighbors came out for the public theaters Shakespeare in the Park, right here at Traverse Park. Thank you to everyone that came out, and we hope to bring more free public art and cultural events to our community. Upcoming events tomorrow from 6 to 8:30 p.m. Make Music New York is having their event at Diversity Plaza. Come and enjoy some free music. The next day, Saturday, the 22nd, at 69th Street and 37th Avenue at 10 o'clock. There's going to be a community cleanup along the BQE with Jackson Heights Beautification Group, and that's it from us. Happy 4th of July from the council member's office, our team, and everyone. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Evelyn. I'm the Deputy Chief of Staff for the Assemblywoman Cannon Cruz. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it, but I have some updates. We have been meeting with the 115 precinct along with my colleagues from Councilmember Sheikh Krishnan and Assemblymember Stephen Raga regarding the street vendors. We are working together to find solutions, and as well we are working with state agency OCM, and the sheriff's team has begun shutting down illegal cannabis shops. If you have any shop in particular, please feel out to reach out to our office. We are more than happy to connect with the Sheriff's Department and have it shut down as soon as possible. Upcoming events, we're having a pandemic celebration of life at Elmer's Hospital on July 8th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. We're also hosting a DCAS Civil Service 101 session at Jackson Heights Library on June 9th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. and stay tuned for upcoming mobile office hours.
Hello, my name is Steven Mendevelso from the Queensboro President's Office. The VP wanted to let you know of his supportive stance of the City of Yes in regards to building more affordable housing and legalization of the ADUs, basement apartments. As well, he does disagree with the segment of plan that would allow for garage conversion. Aside from that, I just want to let you know that we are also having a virtual parent advisory board meeting, and the topic will be youth safety. Mark Rappersert, Chief of Safety and Prevention Partnership for the New York City Department of Education, is going to be there. If you all have any questions in regards to safety in the schools, you're welcome to go to our Zoom meeting on Wednesday, June 26th at 6 p.m. at RSVP on our website.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is John Bahia. I am the Communications Coordinator for the Office of Assemblymember Stephen Raga. And I'd like to share the following updates in terms of legislation. We all know that the legislative session has recently ended in June, and during the final days, we introduced the following pieces of legislation. A10191, which prevents housing discrimination based on wage history, medical history, and health conditions. A10496, which requires Access-a-Ride to create an online application process instead of just a paper mailing application. Also, a coming event that we have for this month is we would like to share our second annual Pride Month celebration, which will be on June 29th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at Elmer's Hospital. I've shared the information with the board, and I will continue to share again. In terms of constituent affairs, we successfully hosted NHS at our district office to help constituents apply for Section 8 housing. We also held the successful rain barrel giveaway last June 15, distributing over 100 rain barrels. We will keep the public posted on future giveaways and reopening of the wait list. For our upcoming mobile hours, bringing our office to the constituents in the district, we're having one tomorrow in Woodside from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Near 61st Street. We're having one on Saturday, June 22nd, the next day as well, from 2:30 to 4:30 at the corner of Juniper Boulevard and Lutheran Avenue, Juniper Valley Park. We have one on Elmhurst next Wednesday, June 26th, from 2:30 to 4:30 at 8536 Grand Avenue. I'll also share this to the board as well, and we wish everyone a happy summer.
Hello, my name is Kate. I'm from Councilmember Cleveland's office. I just have very brief legislative updates. Our office has been focused on ensuring that the city fully funds essential services for all New Yorkers. We've been fighting hard to protect and expand our funding for childcare, including universal pre-K, and to guarantee funding for Promise NYC, which is a program that provides crucial childcare services to undocumented families. We've also been pushing a number of legislative priorities, including the Secure Jobs Act, which is a bill we recently introduced in concert with our coalition partners, which would give New York City workers additional protections against unfair dismissals. Thank you.
There's food, everybody. Okay, so good evening, Committee Board 3. My name is Samantha. I'm from the office of Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. I have some brief updates from our office. Over 633,000 households applied to be put on the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher waitlist. Section 8 is a federal housing assistance program administered by the New York City Housing Administration. If you have any questions on the process and how our office can assist, please reach out. Just wanted to talk about the cooling centers open to the public, as there is a heat wave right now. If you want to find a cooling center near you, go to nyc.gov/beattheheat. And just lastly, on this past Tuesday, the Biden administration announced an executive action allowing certain undocumented spouses and children of the U.S. citizens an opportunity to apply for a parole in place program, which would shield them.
Renata, what's up? Let's see. What you doing?
Hello? Okay. Where was
How do you
I?
going to do this?
So, sorry guys.
What is wrong?
A parole in place program which would shield them from deportation and offer them work permits if they have lived in the country for the last 10 years. For more information, please contact our office. Thank you.
Hola, my name is Perla Liberato. I'm from the office of Senator Jessica Ramos. And I just want to share some upcoming events. We're currently working on our 3rd annual Colombian Festival. And it usually happens right here on 34 Ave, but this time we're going to do it in 37th Avenue and 82nd Street, also known as Calle Colombia. And it will happen July 13, which is a Saturday. The next Monday, we're having an immigration workshop happening at the Corona Food Bank at 9315 Corona Avenue in Elmer. And lastly, our office is 74 and 37th Avenue. We're open from Monday to Thursday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And also a reminder, we have someone at the office that helps with the Department of Labor cases. So if you, any constituent, any family that is dealing with like wage theft, unemployment issues, or any Department of Labor related issue, please send them to our office. That we have someone that knows a lot about that and can help people with that issue. Thank you.
Hey, all right, CB3, last one. Hope you all had a happy first day of summer. Great to have joined you here at Traverse Park. Hope to see you here again soon as part of this community event that Assemblymember Gonzalez Rojas is organizing. She would love to celebrate with our community students to end the school year and kick off the summer with an Italian ice giveaway. So meet us here at Traverse Park, 78th Street, right over there. Wednesday, June 26th from 2 to 4 p.m. It's a first come, first served basis for our youth and students to, enjoy cool sweet this summer. Following this evening's informative presentation about cloudbursts, call our office if you need any flood barriers to protect your home. But with that said, wishing you a joyful, healthy summer. Happy to help assist to ensure it is so. Take care. Good night.
And I'm Lily from Assemblyman Aubrey's office, and I'd like to thank the community board for a wonderful year. And the Assemblyman is home. As we all know, he will be retiring, so we're looking forward to seeing Assemblyman Aubrey. So we're looking to see him in the district and more of him. To each and every one from Assemblyman Aubrey, on behalf of our office, have a wonderful and happy. See you, what's the next one coming up? August 6th? No, we have that event coming up, National Night Out. See everyone there. Have a great night. Thank you.
All right, listen, we have a lot of stuff still to go. Please pay attention to your emails. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for supporting yourselves. All right? God bless. Have a great summer. But I'll see you guys in between time. Please get some food. We pay for this, so don't waste our money, please. All right? Motion to adjourn? Yeah. All right, all in favor? All right. Meeting in the books. Thank you very much. Get home safe.
Don't you send an ambulance in for somebody in the morning.